Welcome everybody to Modern League Week 5 here at Nerd Rage Gaming. My name is Haviva Goodman alongside Dominic Stryker. Good evening, Dom. How you doing?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. We're about to get in it. All right. So we talk about NRG being a place where people are playing tons of Dimir decks, tons of control decks. But we also got some boys, some gentlemen out here who are, let's call them deck specialists. On the right side, we got Jack. If you've been watching the stream for a while, you know him, you love him. He's our local goblin. But on the left side, we got Teddy.
Goblin player.
Oh, I just literally, I just call him a goblin at this point.
Sure.
And then we got Teddy on the left. For those who don't know, Teddy is locked in, tried and true Enchantress player, top to bottom. And very importantly, Teddy is playing this sick deck, and he's playing a sick deck full of Duskmourn cards.
Yeah, he put in an order just earlier tonight, and I was like, I didn't even see, there was no name on the order, but I was like, this is a Teddy order.
A pile of the new enchantments must be for Teddy. So play along at home. Teddy's got some sick art versions of these cards, some alternate language versions. So we got this Abundant Growth in play, and this is a Sterling Grove. I believe it is in Chinese or Chinese Simplified.
That looks right to me. We'll pull it up in English for folks at home.
Yes. So the Sterling Grove is enchantments have Shroud, and then you can pay 1 and sack it to tutor an enchantment to the top of the deck.
Classic enchantment card.
Yeah, this is both the protection piece and then find the goods for you later. Jack here setting up to try to get a wombo combo kill next turn. Not quite sure what to be scared of out of Teddy, so we're just going Snoop into Matron to search up the Bogart Harbinger. Just have the combo ready to rock and roll. Even a Patchlick Mons on top. Jack is all sorts of setup. The question is, does Teddy have removal? Does Teddy have interaction? What do you got?
We've seen Jack try and assemble really quick turns with goblins before. Sometimes he gets there. I would say more frequently he does not through no fault of his own. There's a lot of interaction in Modern. Speaking of, here's to Fairy from Teddy.
Bounce the Snoop. Bounce the Snoop. Bounce the Snoop. Yes, Teddy. Great choice. Haviva, MH1 quiz time. What's the far right land for Teddy?
Far right land for Teddy is Hall of Heliod.
Yes, the Hall of Heliod's generosity. If you know, it's a callback to Academy Runes that puts your artifacts from your graveyard on top of your library. This puts an enchantment from your graveyard on top. So just leaning even further into this Enchantress style strat for Teddy. Snoop back in business for Jack. New reveal of the top card.
Oh.
That's
a good one.
And the Goblin Crater Maker.
The Mirror Breaker himself, Kiki Jiki on top of the library. Jack will go to combat and clean up the Teferi. Life total standing at 15 to 17.
Yeah, but the danger here is if Jack can get to Jack's upkeep, we can make infinite Snoops.
He can make infinite Snoops.
And then the last Snoop can activate Kiki's ability and copy the Goblin Matron to go find the kill condition and then use his actual mana to play it.
Would that be Sling Gang just to sacrifice them all?
Yeah, Sling Gang Sling Gang to sacrifice them all. So if it's in the deck somewhere, we can still combo using the Matron instead of the Bogart to put it on top and give the ability to Snoop. Jack could instead just use the Matron to put the card actually factually in hand with the Matron's ability.
Yeah, lots of cards in hand still for both of our players, though. Lots more gameplay to be had. This game could be close to done, but could be far from over as well.
Could you pull up the specific text for me of Abundant Growth that's on Teddy's land?
Sure.
Because we have a Leyline Binding in hand, and I want to know if he's got full domain off this Abundant Growth. Does not. So it makes them an every color land, but not domain. So the Leyline Binding in hand still is only discounted by 3 currently for Teddy.
Ooh, I wonder if he has the green Overlord that makes the Everywhere token, speaking of.
I saw so many Overlords in the pile that Teddy showed me.
I think he had, I remember him buying the blue one
I know
earlier.
I know blue and white are in here for sure.
At least today he did not pick up that card specifically from the store.
But if you're familiar with the thriving metagame for Pioneer right now, Teddy is playing Enigmatic Incarnation in the deck as well.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Alongside having those little tutor targets up the chain. So Teddy might go wild at some point. And here it is.
There it is. Enigmatic Incarnation.
So Teddy has access to turning this Abundant into a 2-drop or this Sterling Grove into a 3.
I feel like I guess it depends on what you can grab, because obviously the Abundant Growth is less valuable in my eyes, and Teddy will opt to sack it here to the Enigmatic.
In my brain, the Sterling Grove sacks and goes to get a Skyclave Apparition, but Teddy's going to go get this Meddling Mage.
Okay.
and
That
name the Harbinger. And I don't think Teddy knows that he's about to die.
yeah, because he doesn't need to cast the Harbinger.
Right, because the Kiki is currently on top. So you may see Jack move real quick in his upkeep here. Boom. Immediately upkeep, snap, tap the Snoop.
Gotta.
So
Gotta tap
the
the
question is do you want to do anything here? Do you want to do anything here? And here's
That's a
all
lot
the
of
dice. And then he's going to draw the Kiki. There's an Arena Glory on top. The Bogart can't be cast, but he drew Patchlick Wands, which is the because it's a Blood Arts effect, and Kiki says sacrifice at end step, right? So then when we go to end step, Kiki makes us sacrifice all those copies, and he goes ping, 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 ping. Wowzers! So having the kill in hand as well, just having the Patchlick already there.
Yeah, I think Skyclave was the necessary grab there.
Because Skyclave off of the Sterling Grove gets you an answer to the Snoop, and then Jack never gets to combo.
I think Teddy was still pretty far behind in that game. I think Enchantress takes a little more time to set up than Goblins does.
Yes.
So they both do need a couple of pieces to assemble the combo.
Yeah, if we have deck lists, I'd love to see if Teddy has
looking, hold on. I don't know. I have Jax. Give me a moment.
Perfect.
Here.
We can talk about Jax. I'm wondering big time if Teddy has a temporary lockdown available in the deck somewhere as an enchantment that can really help take out these goblins. But we already saw 2 permanents of his own that cost 1 and 2 in play. So maybe not the biggest interest in the lockdowns.
Alrighty, pulling it up here. Here we go. Deck list. It's got to.
Yeah, so shout out to Jack there. And the unfortunate part is Jack unbelievably familiar with this deck. And if your opponent stumbles for just a moment due to their own unfamiliarity, allows that chance for you to snap through with a combo. That's what Jack did right there. Beautiful 76 here out of Jack. If you've been watching Jack play, he loves all of his sideboard cards to be literal hammers in whatever matchup's giving him trouble. So currently we've got 2 Soulless Jailer, 3 Fatal Push, 2 Dismember, 2 Damping Sphere, 2 Blood Moon, and 4 Leyline of the Void. Jack in the dark just saw a messy mana base and a couple of enchantments. I'm looking to grab these 2 Blood Moons, and that might just be it.
Yeah, I will also add that Jack posted his entire deck list in the Modern channel earlier today, as well as his sideboard guide, just to fully, because he likes communicating and helping deck build with the community as well. But I also just love the sort of BDE of just saying like, hey, this this is my deck, this is my plan for tonight. What you gonna do?
Right, I will beat up on you. Can't wait to see you out there in the streets.
Yeah, so here we go into game 2. Teddy will be on the play. We got someone in chat cheering on Jack as well.
Love it. Nothing but support for the Goblin Ring leader out there.
Let's check the leaderboard as well. I believe Jack is in 9th place currently.
Ooh, give him that credit. Give him that support.
Teddy is busy playing a lot of games at the same time, so isn't able to attend every week.
Some gamers really love to game, and you'll see them at all game, every game.
Teddy is a player that we've talked about completing the Energy Grand Slam, which is getting 4 4-0s in a single week of locals.
Whoa. Okay,
because he does play so many games. Yeah, it's very hypothetical because no one has come close to ever doing it.
But they're out there attempting, that's for sure.
I would. I mean, maybe we should put like a bounty on it.
Yeah, actually, that'd be really sick.
I think it'd be cool. We'll draw it up in a meeting or something. Here comes Meddling Mage from Teddy. I don't know if you.
I would love to see it. I would love to see the game.
I'll go ask what the card's on. What?
I'm just looking at Jack's deck list here.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yo, we're in. Yes, please check on this Meddling Mage. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, this Meddling Mage is not only here, but it is rumbling as Sithis Harvest Hands come on into play. Out of MH2, card for revitalizing the Enchantress strategy. The Meddling Mage is naming Snoop. Love it, a Meddling Mage.
I'm so sorry about that. I was fully just watching the beginning of this match, and I did not realize. Usually Bryce is doing production. I have switched over to doing both production and commentary, which is a little hard to balance at times, so I appreciate y'all's patience in chat.
So shout in the chat, say, good job, Haviva. We really appreciate it. continuing to bring high-level commentary from the Nerd
Hopefully.
Rage Gaming Store.
Oh, goodness. I'd love to practice doing commentary for other formats. I only ever do commentary for Modern.
Well, set it up. Let's do this thing.
I know, but the other format I would do is Standard, and I want to play Standard.
Well, I get it. Here comes the munitions expert because Jack snuck in the Snoop off the Aether Vial.
We'll kill
allows
the
him to
Sithis.
shoot down the Sithis, not the Meddling Mage, even though he has a Snoop actively in play right now.
Interesting, interesting. Hey, Chatter. They said they're new to Modern and don't know what any of these cards do anyways. No worries.
Okay.
We'll try and do our best to explain. It took me a while to figure out all the different cards in Goblins, and Teddy's deck is not much easier to parse.
All right.
But we will hopefully be explaining most of these cards or pulling them up on screen as well.
I got you. Teddy's mana base, there are 3 lands, and there is a Utopia Sprawl, which allows the land to tap for an additional color. So that means that forest will tap for a green plus a land of Teddy's choice. There's a Meddling Mage in play for Teddy, which names a card, which in case it's naming Conspicuous Snoop, so that card can't be played. But Jack used Aether Vial to sneak it into play, and now Teddy used this Flage to take down that Snoop into the bin that Titan goes. And the Mage is rumbling. This Meddling Mage has done 4 points of damage so far.
Indeed, and the Flage gets evoked, so when it gets it doesn't get evoked. Excuse me.
It just sacrifices itself. It was not
if
escaped.
It was not escaped,
it's
so
like
gonna
reverse evoke.
Enter, do a lightning helix effect, 3 damage. That also gains life as well.
This is a Goblin Ringleader for Jack. This is his namesake Twitter bio. What it does is it looks at the top 4 cards. You put any goblins you find into hand. Here you found a Goblin Instigator, little combo fun card that Jack's been playing. If it comes down into play, we'll bring it right on up.
A little bit more of a swingy matchup this time. Not going to see a combo kill quite yet from Jack. Teddy, we haven't seen too many win conditions yet. Obviously, he's playing creatures. Flage on its own can be a win condition, but he's got to get through Jack's board first.
And Jack playing these MDFC Bogart Trawlers, which are a goblin that exiles graveyards, allows him to play kind of a greedier mana base, but also an impactful 3-drop. Use his Vial, sneaks in here, eats that graveyard so that the Flage will never come back to escape, as it's deep exiled from the land.
Yeah, Teddy is definitely not the only player Jack has used the Bogart against. A lot of graveyard relevance right now in Modern, especially, I mean, with Flage alone.
Right, between Flage, Murktide, Frog, Abhorrent Oculus now, because comboing with Unearth, all over the place. Shout out to May, an innovative deck builder here at NRG.
I know, we asked for Duskmourn cards last week, and May absolutely delivered. I think she found one of the best cards in the set very quickly, put it in the shell that fit it the best, and 4-0'd.
Yeah, and then the deck blew up across the Twitter sphere of MTG, no joke.
As did the price of the card. It's up to like $40 right now.
Yeah, sure did.
Fortunately, I don't invest in Modern, so my wallet's not too sad this week.
It's also really good in Standard, TBH. As here comes the backup plan for Jack, which is just attacking with the Goblins. They amass over time, just being 1/1s, 2/2s, the 3/1, the Bogart Trawler, that Jack gets to threaten a combo over and over and over again. But the value plan in this deck is also through the charts. I compare this deck a lot to the Black-Green Yawgmoth deck, which I think also that comparison kind of helps Jack kind of realize his role playing this Goblin deck of so much of the time you can just slowly grind through a game, choose your interaction at the right spot, attack down a little bit, and then, oops, you can combo people, or you can do what he did in game 1, which is set himself up to shove the combo as fast as possible because maybe your opponent needs more time. Jack understanding the role here again of just pushing the aggression as fast as he can against his Enchantress deck to not allow them to get set up.
I think the face cams are really illustrative in this moment. You see
Teddy's having a moment.
Teddy, the deck itself, 5-color Enchantress, is pretty toolboxy. There's a lot of different ways to get a bunch of the cards in your deck, and they fit different scenarios, right? So just going through the sort of litany of cards in his head, trying to figure out what to do first. First card to play, though, is
Solitary Confinement. This is very important, as Jack used this moment, snuck in a Sling Gang before Teddy could get the protective piece in play, threw all these goblins at Teddy, took them those last points of life total. As it says you have Shroud and prevent that damage, but Jack responding, throwing all that damage before Teddy can bring down that protective piece. Jack taking it down 2-0.
All right, Jack will advance to 1-0 on the night. We're going to head into our backup match and see what they're doing there.
This Boros Energy versus Necro.
Perfect timing. I'm going to go see who won game 1.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll give a quick shout out here. So we have Luke, tried and true Necro dominance player locally here on the left. Was a big fan of the coffer strategy beforehand, playing the big mono black strategies that are available to you. Then utilizing the strength of this Necro dominance strategy along side cards like Soul Spike, March of Wretched Sorrows, and sometimes Luke even puts the Flip Sorin in his deck to really combo off of these pieces. And then we have Sudeep over here playing Boros Energy. If you played other stores local to the Nerd Rage area, been playing against him, playing this Boros Energy quite a lot. Very experienced getting this Boros Energy playing a deck that many believe might be the quote-unquote best deck of Modern right now. But the thing is dang, all these cards are so good. And it looks like Boros taking it down in game 1 here, which is so shocking to think that the red-white creature deck got to beat up on the mono-black kill every card you put in play strat. But these Boros decks can gain so much advantage that they can really push through those pieces of interaction.
Absolutely. I would say Boros, if not the best deck, is definitely in tier 1.
It's fighting, absolutely.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the dominance of, not Necro dominance, but Psychic Frog and Murktide Shells, as well as Jeskai Control, which is doing a lot in our current meta as well. We'll head into game 2 here, though, with Luke on the play. He's going to start turn 1 play Thoughtseize.
Inquisition of
Oh,
Kozilek.
excuse me. Oh, my goodness. I'm so used to Thoughtseize right now.
He gets to save the life here, which is important because the overall mana cost of this deck is really low. Luke seeing a hand of really aggressive Boros pieces and the one hate card drawn out of the sideboard. So the question is do you think you can play through this sphere, or do you need to start picking down this aggression plan, taking something like a Amped Raptor, because that's a 2-for-1 against your mono black deck, taking Guide of Souls, because flying will be hard for you, but we're here taking, and it is the Guide of Souls, right? Just slowing down Sudeep in any way that he possibly can.
It's a really powerful hand. That is quite something to see right at the start there. I'll start with the Ocelot Pride as turn 1, though.
Very important, though. Sudeep's hand only had this snow-covered plains, so Luke is probably doing what many players do in this situation, which is hoping and praying that there wasn't another land. Of course, there immediately was a land drawn, and now we're taking the Amped Raptor.
He has the second eye, okay?
Yeah, so
at the very least.
Sudeep drew this extra plains. Importantly here, Luke took the Amped Raptor, I think, understanding how hard it is to deal with the 2-for-1, but Sudeep doesn't have red mana right now. So prioritizing how difficult that card will be at some point, even though it won't be difficult immediately.
Oh, I think that's a borderless Arena of Glory
Sure
he just drew for turn.
It'll enter tapped as we have these 2 basic plains, but it's a red source eventually.
Indeed. I think After Raptor is not the worst choice because it is a hypothetical 2-for-1, right? Because it does the pseudo cascade. We'll go to combat here for Sudeep. Before damage, it
March
will
of Wretched Sorrow.
be marched.
Pitching Culling Ritual.
Culling Ritual. I'm going to pull that one up.
Luke's been playing this Green Splash for a while. The Culling Ritual is incredible against Boros Energy. Just absolutely incredible. Which shows either the strength or desperation of the rest of Luke's hand that we had to pitch this Culling Ritual. Destroy each non-land permanent mana value 2 or less, most of this Boros deck, and then add a red or green mana for each permanent destroyed. So this would be a massive, massive burst of mana for the Necro deck sometimes, while also being a board wipe against these low-to-the-ground decks, which is more and more of Modern every day, every year, every printing, every set. The mana curve gets lower and lower and lower. This Boros deck is defined by being mostly 1s and 2s, and then you debate which powerful 3s and 4s to play.
Where's his green mana, though?
It's at MDFC.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the green-black one.
The MH3 one?
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
And Luke playing a flipped Bogart Harbinger again, dealing even more damage to himself, down to, I think it was 9 there. And now we're using this Necro Dominance for big draws.
What's his life total? Sorry, 9?
Yeah, he took a big Necro here.
All right. We'll see what he can do.
On the hunt for that Soul Spike, I have to imagine.
I have to imagine as well. I'll pull up Necro Dominance proper here for folks at home.
Yeah.
This is another card from MH3.
Actually, I think maybe the most hyped of MH3 preview season.
People were really, really excited for this card. Well, I mean, because Necropotence is so popular.
Of course. Necro had its own season. We say Eldrazi Winter or Nadu Summer at this point. There was, in 1995, I think there was a Necro Summer or Necro Winter, whenever it came out, that it was also so incredibly dominant of its time. And now Luke drawing all these cards, but immediately debating the leftovers of this hand. And Sudeep cashing in a surgical extraction on the March of Wretched Sorrow.
I'm going to make sure life totals are accurate here. Hold
Yeah,
on.
we'll just give that phone a scooch over there as the surgical here takes down that March of Wretched Sorrows. We're going to take a quick look through Luke's hand. Perfect. So we're getting this nice little look at Luke's hand. We're looking at Urborg, Phyrexian Tower, 2 Swamps, another Necro, another Boggart, a Searching Effect, and one more card. And now Sudeep's going to dig into the deck, take out those other marches, taking out some of the big payoffs for activating your Necro and digging deep. March is one of those ones that allows you to cash in a lot of those cards. Between this and Soul Spike are the big payoffs for having so many cards in hand. Here's the MDFC. Sudeep's taking a check at this, like, hey, what does that card do? It's the green-black MDFC.
It's a land that very infrequently becomes a spell, I believe.
Yeah, because I think it just puts a 1/1 counter and gives some sort of keyword for a hot second.
Oh, does anyone know the name of the card?
Nope.
We'll see. We'll see. Chat, I believe. I love a surgical here as well in game 2 because you get to see exactly how Luke has sideboarded.
Yeah.
If you know the stock build or the main deck build of Necro.
Yeah, and I think Luke pretty outwardly displayed, I did not draw Soul Spike here. Which also then gives Sudeep kind of a good reason to go after the March because it's the only other big burst of life gain available.
Ooh, I think someone got it. Revitalizing
I was gonna say,
Repass.
I knew it started with Revitalizing.
There we go.
Yeah, so put a 1/1 counter and it gains Indestructible, but more importantly, this is a green-black based MDFC for Luke.
Life total is 18-9 in Sudeep's favor. Just the single creature on board versus a Necro dominance for Luke.
Yeah, and Luke, importantly, is going to have to also go to discard here. A piece of that Necro deck is it puts you down to hand maximum size 5.
Indeed. Yeah, I have not played with that card at all. I really want to give it a try. But I don't play too much Modern, so I guess I'd try it in Commander.
Ooh, yeah. Incredibly powerful there. As this Ocelot Pride coming in, poking its 1 damage. But this will trigger the ability of the Ocelot Pride in the end step to get that a 1/1 cat. Just kind of how this card snowballs is using its own ability to fuel itself to get these cats going.
Start to widen the board a bit. Sudeep drew a few lands in his beginning turns, which he really needed. I think he's now got some spells left in hand. Luke's sitting on a good grip as well. A full Necro grip. We'll play a Cabal Coffers as land for turn.
Urborg.
Oh,
that one. This because this is the dead marshes here.
It's the other altar.
Yeah, it's the other.
Thank you.
Sudeep, I would just want to make a small comment. Luke knows from peeking at the hand that Sudeep has another snow-covered plains. Sudeep instead opted to play this Arid Mesa, most likely to find the Elegant Parlor to start getting like more action, but also through that action has given some info away to Luke. And we could have, if Sudeep wanted, played the plains out and at least like bought the Gigantha or done something with the mana. And instead here, it feels like we're on the hunt for a Surveil.
I think that's generally the play when you have the extra mana and the fetch. Obviously, he doesn't have too many instant speed things to do. A lot of creatures in the Boros deck. Luke will go to 4 here, by the way.
Another big Necro on the hunt for a Soul Spike.
There's
Found
one.
it this time, and he gets to kill the Ocelot Pride in the process.
Gets to go up a little bit in life as well, stabilizing slowly up to 8 to Sudeep's 19.
Yeah, and this Bogart Harbinger is a 3/1, so I mean it is nothing to sneeze at. That it's gonna be able to block most of the cards out of this Boros deck. Well, I mean,
not survive the blocks.
But I say Ocelot Pride and Raptor both are unsurvivable combats for the Bogart.
3/1 is such a funny stat line. It gets a little awkward.
I play 3/1s in limited as removal spells. Like to me, I love to block. I like to block more than anything else.
Really?
So a card, like if it's like a 2-mana 3/1, to me that's a removal spell. Like this is how I'm going to kill your 2-drop is mine that can trade for most anything else. And 3 power allows it to trade up the curve sometimes. In this case, it's just a fun stat line to put on a card that's mostly here for the ETB and then suddenly has 3 power.
Absolutely, yeah. I would say I'm trying to think what other creatures Luke has in his deck besides the Trawler. I guess Sholdred.
Sholdred
is probably biggest one.
Yeah. And the thing is Luke also plays some spice. So if you named any like cool big black card, I'd believe you. Like if you told me he had Valgavoth from the new set in here, I'd believe you.
Ooh. Can't have grief anymore.
No,
I have
that
his
opened up.
old. I have his old deck list pulled up here.
That's where these Inquisition of Kozilek's came from. It has to be just like filling in that discard slot for Luke.
Sure, just has probably Thoughtseize and IOK.
Mm-hmm. Sudeep here has drawn Static Prison. But Luke's life total is getting so low that is it worth going after this Necro? And Sudeep says yes.
He does say yes. Well,
and then now we're buying
exile that
Jegantha
for
on
a
this
bit.
turn. Interesting.
Still a mana short to cast her.
Yep.
Has the energy token there. I think that's
But-
the Boar's Hat one.
Yeah. But if Sudeep can cast this next turn, we can haste it with the Arena, and it'd be a 5/5 hasted Jegantha. Which I do think Arena of Glory kind of gives a little bit of life back to Jegantha, of this card being like fine and a card being cut from some sideboards, but making it a 5/5 haster, that's Reality Smasher.
That's a big elk.
That's a big elk. That is Mama Jegantha the Wellspring.
Chatter pointing out that Luke's probably specifically went to 4 and over 3 on the dig with Necro to avoid getting bolted in the face.
Yes, very smart move there.
Ooh, and that's a great card. There's
The
the
One
one ring. That's
Ring.
an expensive one too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Luke,
they're all
Luke got these early, but yeah, forget about it, all of them.
they're all expensive these days. Give him a little bit of protection,
Yeah, the-
life-wise and spell-wise.
The protection's very important. And also, Luke gets to spend these few turns of the Necro Dominance being on layaway. Like, it'll eventually come back, because I imagine Sudeep won't be able to pay for this for very long. For the prison, that is.
They play Galvanic Discharge.
Mhm.
No, that's a way to get some more energy.
But I think I
Obviously,
would
the
have boarded it out
creatures-
against Necro.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
Because this deck kind of just doesn't have the targets. It's not sitting with a bunch of impactful walkers, barely any creatures.
Is that Aether Hub?
Yeah, and this is Hasted Jegantha. Come on.
Get
Come on,
in there.
slam. Oh, wait. Don't haste it. That's silly. Ring protection.
Yeah, we can chill.
But I do appreciate slamming old Juicy J here. Taking 1 damage from that ring, but Luke's going to start really digging.
Get Aether Hub pulled up here. It's been a minute since I've played this card.
I played a lot of this card.
This card is from my very first Midnight pre-release that I ever played. My first and
Ooh,
last, because
Kaladesh?
that is just not a kind thing to do to your body.
Yeah, adults don't go to midnight pre-releases.
No, they don't. They play their FNM and they go home and sleep.
Yeah, I used to go to F&M, then like go out to eat with buddies, and then go to the midnight pre-release, and then play till like 6:30 in the morning, and then go to the 11 a.m. pre-release.
No, I know people that do that today. I mean, there's still stores that do the
Yeah.
full like 24-hour circuit kind of type thing.
Here's an activation of the ring. Luke digging just ever so deeper. But remember,
Mhm.
has lost those March of Wretched Sorrows, so big bursts of mana not quite available. Probably in the hunt for something like Shieldred.
I think Shieldred's the way to get him out of this game, right? With the ring, continue to tick down with his life, sitting so low, facing down these creatures. She herself can block,
Would be a great blocker right now.
and survive the cat, not the elk.
Yeah, not Jegantha. All right, 3-mana tapped. The
Ooh.
Meteor Massacre. The original, not the sequel, but a card that has an increasing in vast popularity, specifically for beating up on Boros. A Massacre for 1 can clean up most of this deck. A Massacre for 2, make sure to definitely clean up most of it.
And that'll gain Luke some life as well, or does it ping Sudeep? No, it does gain life. Okay,
Yeah.
on the creature death.
Oh,
So there
well,
you
it
go.
depends on whose creature dies, depends on if Luke gains or drains.
Got it.
Instead of being a full Blood Arts, it depends on whose creature is dying. And then the killing of that through the Medoc Massacre allowed Luke to cash in a Shieldred's Edict to eat the huge 5/5 Jegantha.
Oh, I was updating the wrong life total here. There we go.
And Sudeep's working with basically this draw step. Looked like a beautiful full art card, so
He's got a lot of those. Paid for the Static Prison.
yeah.
Necro's still under there for at least another turn.
2 mana. Oh, I think it's a Ajani. Oh, it's Damping Sphere.
Okay.
And then this is the Ajani, right?
Hmm.
Oh, if it is the Ajani, he's going to have to pay his own Damping Sphere tax, though. Not going to be too big of a deal because Sudeep has the 3 mana, but looks like we're passing the turn.
Down to 8 for Luke off of fetch.
And then it'll be to 6 off the ring trigger.
Indeed.
And interesting that Luke doesn't have like an underground mortuary, the green-black surveil land here to find. Having that green splash, but looks to not be having that surveil for the splash.
This deck has so many black pips in it. I
Mhm.
feel like the only green he should have is that MDFC.
Well, that's why I'm saying the green-black surveil land, because it would accomplish both goals.
Oh, it does. It just has black in it. That's fair.
Just got
That's
it.
fair.
But Luke here, again, taking 2 damage down to 6 off this copy of the One Ring.
Oh.
Inquisition of Kozilek eating the Galvanic Discharge. Sudeep does still have some numbers of these in. And now digging real deep with this ring. On the hunt for a new ring to get that restart. On the hunt for a Shieldred to not just die. 4 mana slam, new ring. Damping Spheres make it cost 1 more. Luke thankfully does have that. No oopsie whoopsie there.
Good job by Sudeep to remember the damping sphere trigger.
New ring keeps the new ring. So this one's fresh. And the protection re-engaged. Oh, put your bets in right now. If this goes to a game number 3, will Sudeep forget about the Gigant in the graveyard?
Oh, he seems like a pretty experienced player. This is the first time I've seen him play. He's very calm, cool, collected.
So
Draws his card, puts it down, does his thing.
You're on team he remembers.
I think he remembers.
All right, I'll squat up with shuffles it in.
We'll put a prediction in chat.
Importantly, not paying for the Static Prison, giving Luke back the Necro Dominance. Very fun that Necro limits your hand size to 5, but the ring incentivizes you to draw so many cards. Luke's just not going to be able to keep all of those cards because of now the hindrance of the Necro. Oh, he just went to draw step. Wee 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 wee.
Oh.
Sudeep just remembered. Luke's going to activate the ring and draw that card anyways.
I think that's a fine fix. Sudeep seems fine with it as well. Ooh.
The only thing that would have mattered is depending on if and when Luke drew a Shieldred and the kind of that course of action there. But he gave himself a negative punishment of just drawing real quick from the ring and not even having that moment to try to play something like a Shieldred or whatnot. So fair split, fair understanding, A-OK. Remember, we're playing locals, baby.
Let's talk about what this card in Sudeep's hand could be. Oh, he does have a mortuary. Look at that.
Yeah, so it was just already in the grip. I understand now.
We'll see what is the best card to get him out of the situation, get those last few points of life from Luke gone.
Yeah, Sudeep just needs to do damage, right? 5 is not that much, and there is access to Arena of Glory. So, finding a Flage.
Oh, Flage I think is probably the best card.
Right, Flage would allow him to try to fight through this.
I think a Lightning Bolt. Do they play Lightning Bolt?
Oh yeah, they got bolts because Luke's very close to dying to his own ring as well. Sudeep has Galvanic Discharge in hand though, not Bolt. It's almost Bolt, but it's not Bolt.
Oh, flooding a little bit more here. He's
from this one lander we saw him start with.
I know, right? So funny.
Luke down to 3.
Luke just dealing with his own struggles though at this point, right?
Yeah, but this is the mono black way.
I know, yeah. They're comfortable. If there's a deck comfortable getting this low in life, it's got to be the Necro deck.
And remember, Sudeep very early on took the March of Wretched Sorrows away from Luke's deck. That Luke's real life gain payoffs are trying to find these Shieldreds and trying to find Soul Spikes.
Dig again. I don't think he's happy with it.
There's the Shieldred, but we've already drawn the cards.
Mm-hmm.
But this means if Luke draws 2 off the Necro, Luke will gain 4. So Luke will go up to 5. Ring will ding him damage down to... There's the Soul Spike. There's the Soul Spike. All right, going up to Sudeep. So I don't have to do that math anymore. Because it was very risky against specifically Lightning Bolt.
Right, right.
Luke has finally found the Soul Spike and is closing the window on Sudeep now.
Indeed, yeah. Sudeep's
because now Luke can draw
window of opportunity
6.
Quickly dwindling here. Down to 1.
But gaining 12 up to 13. Shieldred and Necro.
But that goes on the stack, so if Sudeep had a Lightning Bolt in that moment, that would have been insane.
Yeah, but Luke no-feared that one.
Yeah. I think he could read what his opponent was on.
Yeah, but maybe that means Sudeep's got the perfect poker face to pretend like it's not just a bolt ready to be snapped off at any moment. Big discard coming from Luke here.
Life total's now even at 13 apiece.
Oh, discarding a Fatal Push. I would have held on to that for sure, but that means these other 5 cards are real good.
Could be another Fatal Push in hand. He's gone through a ton of his deck at this point.
Quick misstep here, but it's not going to matter too much to the game, but I do want to explain it. Luke went to discard for his Necro Dominance, his overloaded hand, and then Sudeep cracked his fetch. That would not be possible in high-level competitive Magic, as cleanup it happens after the end step, and there's no responding to gameplay. It's a weird thing to think about and a weird habit. Whenever I play decks that get really big hand sizes, I will actively say to my opponent, I would like to go to end step. I would like to move to cleanup. Are there any responses? To give them that kind of moment, that kind of window.
That's very generous.
Yeah, it is generous. But it doesn't matter too much because both players here knew what was going on. But so if you're playing high REL competitive level, you would not have been able to fetch there.
You know where you can play competitive
Nerd
REL?
Rage Gaming.
This Saturday, Nerd Rage Gaming is hosting their
RCQ.
modern RCQ. Come join us. Starts at 11 a.m. Only $25 entry,
Yeah.
$500 in store credit, and of course an invite to either RC Portland or Charlotte. If you're interested, sign up on the website right now, nerdragegaming.com.
I might be there.
I will be there to launch the event.
Yep.
And then I'll probably go home and sleep. I don't know. We'll figure it
Fair.
out. It's a Saturday.
Fair.
What do you plan? Or is it a big secret?
It'll probably be Titan.
Yeah. Right on.
Or creativity.
Ooh.
Galvanic Discharge, very important here. Sudeep is only going to go up to 4 energy.
So he can't kill the Shelly.
Can't kill the Shelly. So just using it as kind of an energy ritual there.
For when he draws
And
the
then
other
draws the
one. Yeah. Dude. Let's go.
Very important for taking down the Shieldred. That Shieldred could have single-handedly soloed this game for Luke, and now the pressure is on.
Oh, absolutely. I was writing. I was waiting for game 3 because I thought that Shelly was literally going to put this game away. Quite a good sequence there for Sudeep.
You can see the look on Luke's face. He was also ready to ride that Shieldred.
And another one.
Okay.
A different art this time.
Well, this is 4 from the ring, which means a gaining of 8, which means Luke's probably going to start counting his deck to figure out just how deep he can go. Because we've gone through 2 Soul Spikes. Sudeep is at 9, so there's not going to be if we get double Soul Spike plus the Shieldred draw trigger, bingo, bango, that's 10 damage.
Wow.
So Luke has 17 cards to work with because of this Shieldred. That if he wants to, he could just dig. There's the first one. Which means now Luke can dig 21 cards deep.
Oh, boy.
And remember, after he digs 21, he would gain 42. So the real piece that's holding him back is actual cards in library.
Cards in library. Mana as well. This Damping Sphere putting in a little bit of work.
Just a little bit of work.
Slowing him down just a tad, though.
Yep. Players realizing that, making Luke pay the 1 to actually cast that Soul Spike. Also, this Swamp, the second from the left for Luke, is a glaring choice that Luke has gone up in swamps being played, but not immediately having access to the Godzilla Swamp.
That's so funny.
You always know when a player has like blinged out basics and then the draft bin one, that one was a recent choice.
That's great. I love that.
Luke's hand stacked here. Is there a Soul Spike?
Does he run a full 4?
I believe the backbone of this deck is those full 4 spikes.
Yeah.
I know sometimes in a post board they maybe take 1 or 2 out, but we've at least gone through the 3, so that's why I was wondering.
I'm just pulling it up. We've talked about this card quite a ton.
Yeah, sorry. So a player can pitch 2 black cards to exile to deal 4, gain 4 instead of paying the mana cost, which allows this deck to dig really deep and then pitch a lot of those excess cards into that. Sudeep drew in a Johnny there, just no longer having the sources for it. Shieldred will actually factually just attack and take that game down. And these players can check on the clock. We're getting low in it, making our way into a game number 3 here.
All right, I'm going to pull up Luke's most recently submitted deck list, which is a couple months old.
Remove the griefs.
Yeah. You'll see.
What's going on, everybody?
7 minutes left in time, or in the round.
Does that include their 5-minute extension? So they got 12. They got tons of time out there to game. So if you take a look at this deck list, remove these griefs, add some Inquisitions of Kozilek, and add some Meathook Massacres as the Boros deck gets so popular. That card's really effective, especially if you're pumping all that mana into any of these big black effects. Just having that excess mana available to you can allow you to make a really big massacre.
Yo, I just realized Luke is rocking the Nerd Rage Gaming sleeves.
And I saw rocking no copies of Cabal coffers.
Oh yeah,
Just looks like just black card nonsense.
not nonsense.
Not nonsense.
Not
Not
nonsense.
nonsense. I'm so sorry. I meant nonsense.
I will say, I think Luke is the only one on Necro Dominance in the room.
And he's been on since day one too. He was playing.
He's a big black mana player.
And I will say, shout out to the deck Luke's playing. My very first FNM on Wednesdays here at Nerd Rage,
Right.
and my very first 4-0, all on the same night, was playing Mono Black Coffers at Nerd Rage Gaming like 3 years ago.
That's awesome. I don't remember my first ever Wednesday Night Modern. Wow. I know I played Merfolk.
That's right.
Yo, I still.
I wonder if
haven't had a
I
chance to
remember.
try
I
the
was
new
probably
Merfolk.
there at your first one, I would
You
imagine.
think?
I think it was around the same time, I think.
It would have been like 2018 when I started playing Modern here. It was a while ago.
I will say I also want to play the new Merfolk. I'll play the new Merfolk pretty bad.
I've been jamming Pioneer while Angels is good for a minute before Blue White comes back into the.
Oh, it's
The soda.
back.
I haven't seen it on ladder, so that it's not back for
I got to
me.
show you a flex slot Discord then.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're all prepping for DC, those that are
What?
qualified.
Flex slot players playing blue white decks?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The jersey usually represents that hollowed fountain out there.
Mhm.
Players drawing it up, 6s for each of them. Sudeep, quick to keep this 6. Luke just getting a peek here.
I see Flage, Guide of Souls. I think I see a second Flage. On
Yeah, a
Sudeep's
retro
side.
card might be an Ocelot Pride. But it looks like it might be another 1-lander. Maybe a fetch and an arena. Maybe a 2-lander here. But this is a hand that Necro can definitely handle. Luke keeping that 6. Sudeep on the play. It was a fetch land. And Guide of Souls.
All right, strong typical start for the Boros deck here. Luke, of course, has 1 mana removal. We'll see what exactly his sequencing is in the beginning turns here.
Yeah, this Boros deck having sometimes 9, 10, 12 1-drops. Typically will just start on one of those powerful cards. Now Luke is to take apart Sudeep's hand here in Flage, Thraben Charm, and 2 more lands.
Thraben Charm.
Thraben Charm is so good out of this
Let's
deck.
pull that one up.
So deal damage equal to twice the number of creatures you control, exile an enchantment, exile a graveyard.
There you go. If you're more of a visual learner.
Sorry, destroy an enchantment. My bad. I had this card completely wreck me playing Gorios recently.
Oh, yeah?
The player used the first one to deal 8 damage to my Atraxa and kill it. Then used the second one to exile the graveyard so I couldn't get it back.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, you know what? That was too deep. And now here's that Ocelot Pride triggering this Guide of Souls, and this is kind of the 1-2 punch of this Boros deck.
That's incredible realization on camera there.
I would
Oh,
also
wait.
like to say, where's Gigantha?
No! No! I believed. Oh, man. Maybe he sided in a card that makes her illegal?
Totally. Could happen. Could happen. Absolutely could
Maybe.
happen. Fatal Push here, taking down the cat. Copium, copium, copium.
Oh,
And
I
then
need to
look for
download that. I need to download that extension. I don't think that's a natural Twitch emote.
Luke here with a Fatal Push into a Fatal Push, taking down both the powerful 1-drops out of Sudeep.
Oh, seems good. Seems good. Clear board for everyone except for the
But-
cat.
The Inquisition earlier did take a Flage,
Oh.
and the Flage is almost all fueled up. We might see this Surveil bin a card no matter what just to get that 5th card. Oh, there she is. Oh.
Oh. Did he find her in the deck?
Maybe. Maybe.
Well, she's on the field now, or
Yes.
in the zone rather.
So if you take a casual judge ruling of this card is not supposed to be in the deck, we both understand it's supposed to be in the companion zone.
yeah,
Ask the opponent, would you like them to do it? And Luke goes, yeah, whatever.
yeah. I don't
is
think
probably
I would ever
right.
tell anyone that
I-
they couldn't do that.
I would imagine exactly what happened is Luke going, yeah, sure,
Oh,
whatever.
What a rip! Amped Raptor into Guide of Souls. Swing with the cat.
1/1 token coming on in. Shout out to Infinite Tokens.
Infinite tokens.
This deck used a ton of tokens that people did not really have access to. You know, no one's ever thought about having their 1/1 cats available. Infinite tokens can stand in for anything.
1/1 cat tokens actually costing you a pretty penny
Yeah.
if you buy them online as well.
And this cat's an angel now, like all cats.
Oh, I don't know about
Depending
that
who you are, depending who you are, depending who you are.
Ooh.
Luke here flipping over Revitalizing Rotopiast, flipping that on over to get that green source for later. Cling to Dusk and eat that Flage. Good timed. That's going to gain 3 because it's exiling a creature.
I feel like you could just write Flage's name on Cling to
Cling
Dust.
to Dust, yes. You can also write Atraxa's name on it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Is that another Dom Plays Modern story?
It's also really good in the Frog Mirrors I have found of literally just dumping 4 mana over and over again to eat their graveyard and draw cards on your own. But now we're ready for this Amped Raptor and this Guided Soul to rumble on in.
Yeah, this is where you see the strength of the Boros Energy deck to just grow their board and go over the top and smack their opponent down.
But if
down to
Luke,
12 for Luke to Sudeep's 20.
If Luke finds a Meathook Massacre, though, a lot of these cards are going away real fast, and Sudeep with 1 card remaining in hand.
He needs more mana, though. It's -1 for X, right? It's
yeah,
for each
so
X?
we'd be able to do it for 2 and clean up everything but the Super Cat.
Oh, we were talking about before you played that 4th land. Just gonna slam a Sheoldred.
Here's the Thraben Charm to kill the Sheoldred.
Right,
because Sudeep has 4 creatures that deals 8 damage. An MH3 common that people just did not even look at or think about popped up in this Boros deck.
Ooh, is that lethal?
Big chunk here.
That's really close.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Down
6,
to
7.
2.
And
what you got? What's that last card? Oh,
his Aether Hub pickup Gigantha.
All right.
But I forgot that Guide requires 3 to activate, and I thought Sudeep missed a energy with the hub here, but needed full 3. And the aggression plan taking it down. Boros Energy had to slog through the game 2 where Necro got to do its thing, but Boros just being this overpowering, overwhelming aggressive deck, really putting the pressure on after Luke double Fatal pushed him, and Boros still taking it down 2 games to 1.
All right, great matches all around from all 4 of our players in feature match. In round 1 there, before we head to a break, we're going to talk about our weekly schedule. This needs to be updated once again.
Ooh-y.
We have added a 6th game to our roster. Modern players have had the store to themselves for far too long. They now have to share it with Union Arena players. If you like Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, or any of the other animes they plan to add to their catalog, check us out on Wednesdays at 6:30. We're having a pre-release event right now. You get 5 packs, I believe it is. Build a little deck and game with your friends. We'll be selling singles for that as well. And here's the rest of our games. Monday, we have Commander and Digimon. Join us next Monday for our Duskmourn Commander party. Tuesday is One Piece League and Lorcana. Join us on the 12th for our Lorcana Store Champs. Wednesday is Modern and Union Arena. Thursday is Commander and Pokemon. You can join us on Twitch at 6:30 for our Pokemon stream. Friday is Boomer Zoomer Legacy and Standard FNM, as well as One Piece. Saturday rounds out our schedule with Digimon. Let me point out any other events occurring soon. We talked about the RCQ, Store Champs, all that goodness. We're going to head to a quick break, folks. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Bye.
Welcome back, folks. We're in round 2 of Wednesday Night Modern here at Nerd Rage Gaming. We got 2 regulars in the feature match area, Clark and David. Mardu Energy versus Grixis Death Shadow. Let's get them going.
Very important for the folks out there to know. Clark recently won an RCQ playing Mardu Energy. So Clark, no stranger to this strategy here. Looks like Clark is on a 6, but David is on the play. So a little recoup of that card disadvantage for Clark, but disadvantaged once again as a Thoughtseize comes after this hand.
We've seen a lot of hand disruption today.
Oh yeah, hand disruption makes me feel like a god when I play it. Because you just have so much information to work with, and your opponent has so little, right? You get to both take something and know about everything else. And for David is specifically fetch, shocking, and thought seizing to fuel these eventual death shadows, getting their life total low.
I also like the flavor, the base idea of Magic is that you're a wizard slinging spells at people, and that Thoughtseize literally like grabs the knowledge out of your head.
Yes.
That's how it feels. I feel very emotionally distraught when I get Thoughtseized.
Hand disruption being attacking your active thoughts, and then mill being attacking your memories or your brain, right?
For sure.
So like a lot of mill spells are someone like holding their head, right, or like in agony, because mill is going after the library, right, versus like all of their knowledge of spells and everything, versus Thoughtseize, right, is like going after the active thinking, the cards in your hand, the spells that you're preparing to play.
As someone with ADHD, I only have active thoughts. I have no memory.
If someone wants to let me know what the thoughts in the background are, I'd really appreciate it. Clark also playing my current favorite sleeves. These are the Radiant Plum Katanas.
Ooh, that's a new color that just came out.
New color drop.
Those are nice.
They're beautiful.
Katana made by Ultimate Guards. Hashtag
sponsored?
Hashtag sponsor of the series. Also, shout out if we just saw the post on Twitter.
Say it.
Nerd Rage Gaming, the Energy series is providing coverage of the full vintage draft at MagicCon Vegas.
Live in person vintage draft.
Live in person vintage draft. All real cards. All 8 players get to keep the cards that
home.
they draft. So someone's going home with a Black Lotus.
Or I know that they are going to then divvy up the unopened cards to the players, so somebody is getting it, but maybe not their draft pool.
Oh, interesting. Because I was gonna say they might not lose the Black Lotus, but they're fully
I believe all of the excess cards are divvied in some way, shape, or form as additional prize support.
And I know that because of the sort of financial aspect of it, they're actually doing the draft one day and then the matches the next day. There's probably like some back end like stuff they gotta handle just because of
just in case.
Just because of the nature of drafting such expensive cards. I wonder if they have to like sign stuff.
Ooh.
I don't know any of the background stuff.
Yeah, but that'd be cool.
Just for people knowing. I work for the store, not the series, so I don't know.
So it'd be super awesome. We're gonna get that content going. We're chattering here because our players are just getting set up. A classic Guide of Souls beatdown. But David, with this fetch for this polluted delta, is now below unlucky number 13. He will have access to Death Shadows if and when he wants them.
Does Death Shadow use the new lands, or are they just like there's better lands in Modern?
You just get to fetch Shock, and it sets you up just the same.
I guess so, yeah.
The new lands are cool.
I know they're flavorful. I want them to be good.
Yeah, they're actively bad in Commander. Shout out. As
they're banned in Commander?
Actively bad.
Oh, actively bad.
Yeah,
oh.
They're just skill gates, right?
Sure, yeah.
David here displaying currently 3 types for this Nethergoyf.
Mm-hmm.
And then here comes the Bowmaster to shoot, but here's a Fatal Push.
Oh, goodness. I
Assassin's
don't know
Creed
that
Fatal
art.
Push.
Thank you. Get all the dice. We're going very quickly through all the different effects and triggers here.
This is so the Guide of Souls does not get any triggers for the Bowmaster. But Clark on the hunt here for his Orc army has found it. Could shoot the DRC, but it is fully delirious, and the Nethergoyf is a 4/5.
Oh yeah, David's got a stacked graveyard already.
Yeah, you can see he's kind of displaying at the top part of his graveyard there. So there's kind of those loose lands to the left, but there's those 4 actively together of land, sorcery, artifact, instant.
Land for turn will bring Clark up to 3 mana.
Flagey killed the DRC. That is a creature, which is going to add a 5th type for David. So this Goyf continues to grow.
Well tracked there. We'll draw.
Wow. Hand of Express Federation with a basic swamp in play. Digging deep, we're looking at things like, it looks like Shadow, Frog, Push.
Shadow. I always forget Shadow's a literal 1-drop.
Yeah. So David can even exile it here to get access to it as a 1-drop and put one of the other impactful cards in hand.
Ooh, that's an impactful card right there.
David
Exile
took everything
Psychic
but
Frog.
Yeah, David took everything but the Shadow. Puts a Push in the hand, Frog in exile, shocks and plays the Frog down to 10. Yeah, but this Goyf is huge, rumbling in for 5 points of damage.
Goyf
here.
is huge, and Frog has a lot to snack on as well.
Yeah.
I guess a little bit of a nombo between the 2 cards.
But you can eat all the non-delirious cards. So
Yep.
there's 4 remaining there to snack up with that Frog.
Orc Army token will go in the way of the Nether Goyf. There's the dials. I was waiting.
The Tarmodai.
I was waiting for them to notice. Back on Clark's turn, he's at 21 life, has an Amped Raptor in hand to David's knowledge, as well as a couple of other cards. Flage in the yard as well. We'll play the Amped Raptor. We'll see.
Going up to 4 energy, so
See
can
what he
hit
gets.
anything. Hup.
How
Amped
about
Raptor.
another Amped Raptor?
It's basically just a baby rhinos. Can I interest you in 2 2-1s instead of 2 4-4s?
Most people are going to take you up on that, yeah.
Yeah, 2 mana, 2 2-1s.
We saw Rhinos get played last week, actually.
Sure did.
But the Raptor's a little more popular right now.
David, what you gonna do? This Goyf is huge. And David access it Unholy Heat, fully delirious, so it can take down whatever David wants to take down. But I wonder if that Unholy Heat's got Flage's name written on it, in case this game goes a little longer.
Oh, interesting. I was going to say because Clark has so many blockers, he can use it to make the blocks a little more favorable.
That's true, too.
If Clark goes for
But I think
like
it's
several blocks here, which... Oh,
yeah. I think the answer is that none of these blocks are very favorable.
We'll
Because we're
double
going to
block
push
the
it.
frog, get pushed.
And then, yes, instead of using one of these removal spells, feed it to the frog. It's going to do the same thing as killing the creature, but it's going to give you 1 extra power on your frog.
There you go. Looks like that was the play.
Yep. So this is a 2-3, but there's Goyf rumbling in for that full big
Yeah,
chunk of 5 damage.
Unblocked. Down to 16 for Clark. To David's 10.
Yeah, but David with the commanding board state, but
I would
Flage,
say
Flage? With the arena. Clark, how dare you?
Oh
Clark.
my gosh.
Clark.
Soon.
Right now. Right now.
Soon.
Haste. So he
Wait,
can hit the
oh,
Goyf.
there is a 5th land. Sorry,
Yep.
the Aether Hub I missed.
Yeah. So he's going to go to hit the Goyf here, probably. But David's going to cast this on a Holy Heat so that it can't be used to clear the Goyf.
Clark still gets the life at the very least.
Yeah, but gets kind of a 0 for 1 out of this Flage. Just gains 3 life.
Yeah, indeed. But it goes back to the yard. He can try again later. He does still have the Bowmaster that'll crash in for 1.
Yep, sure does have that Bowmaster.
19-1.
This upside down arena is tapped but exerted, so that's why it's super tapped, right? It's like spun a full 90 degrees.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the best way to signal exert.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
pretty clean.
I like the flipping it over or pulling it out of the sleeve.
Sure.
Um.
Reminds me, turning it upside down reminds me of how Pokemon represents their status effects.
Oh, okay.
If it's like paralyzed or asleep, you turn
Oh,
it,
yeah,
you
when I
rotate it
learned.
one way or the other.
Yes, I remember now. I used to know how to play these games.
Mm-hmm. Alex would be the one to ask. I know he plays. And Kat started playing recently, too. Could ask them.
Gamers keep gaming.
We got a lot of games here at Nerd Rage Gaming. It's very easy to get into another one.
Life Dwell is here, 12 for Clark to David's 5. But that means that this Death Shadow is huge.
Huge. It's minus, excuse me, I
It's
always forget the
13
math.
minus life total, I
Thank you.
believe.
Yeah, so standing at 7 is,
Yeah.
yes,
It's
math.
a 13-13 that gets minus life total.
8.
So it should be an 8-8.
Oh, Lord, I shouldn't have gotten myself into that.
Oh, lordy. Well, no Clark's in trouble if Clark buys this Gigantha. That's the cry for help every time.
Well, I don't know. When Sudeep did it, it wasn't too bad.
True. Guided Soul is here, and then buy Jaggy. And if Clark wants, next turn that Jaggy can have haste from the Arena of Glory. But this Goyf is so big. And there's a Street Wraith for David. Not exactly where he wants it, so might feed that to the frog.
No
we
worries,
gotta
though.
jump. We gotta jump this frog, David. You gotta jump it.
Gonna swing in with all 3 of his creatures here to Clark's 3 as well. Moving around his mana a little bit, but not gonna do anything in the attack step. We'll go to blockers, throw the Orc Army in front of the Death Shadow. Looks like those are all
Yep.
the blocks.
Absorb them.
Frog and Goyf unblocked.
Yes, and Clark's at 12, so not worried about dying to having these cards in David's hand being discarded to the frog.
Mm-hmm.
Clark giving away his least impactful card for David's most amount of damage. Classic magic there. And 5, 6, 7 currently coming across, but David might. Oh,
It looked like he wanted to do something there for a second. We'll draw the card after going to damage from the frog. Down to 4 from the Bowmaster. Good spot there from Clark. Down to 6 for him.
Card drawn off the frog for David.
The Orc Army comes back because of the draw,
Yep.
so regains the blocker.
Yeah, super smart there from Clark. Not losing any resource due to regaining it from the frog dealing damage.
You can tell why he won an RCQ.
He sure did. Clark won that same RCQ that I O2 dropped. I then instead spent the day playing CDH with Nadu, and then it got banned.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out, Discourse, 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 as David enters the tank.
Yeah, I need to watch the stream from Weekly MTG. I missed it.
Yeah.
I heard it was really good.
Depends who you are.
Sure. Yeah. I think there were a lot of people with really big emotions, and I think they were calmed by the stream. I think, it might not be as crazy as some people think.
Who would have guessed? The sky is not falling.
Magic will remain a game for a time.
David kind of deep in the tank, but not much has changed for him. He drew a fetch land, but the thing is if he plays this fetch land, and if he has another basic he could grab, he could crack it and then play the Street Wraith as a blocker, but boy, is that kind of nothing. Down at 2 life currently.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like instead going to cash in this Fatal Push. And the other card is a Cling to Dust for David, that David could Cling the Flage and gain 3 life.
Okay.
So options available. But hanging on by a thread, 2 life.
Yeah. I don't think he should have swung with everything.
Mm-hmm. It looks like he agrees.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, because Clark also has that energy that I think there's just no good way to slice that. It can take exactly 2 damage.
All right, we'll go to game 2 here in sideboards. Clark takes down game 1. We'll look at his deck list first here.
Yeah, and this is a Mardu energy. So this is your classic Boros energy beginning a splash for these heavy interactive pieces in Orcish Bowmaster, Fatal Push, and Thoughtseize. Out of the board, we're looking at cards like Bone Crusher Giant, Gigantha, 3 Obsidian Charma, 2 Ob Nixilis the Adversary, Fear Fire Foes, Wear Tear, 2 Chain to the Rocks, 2 Nile Spellbombs, and 2 Damping Sphere.
What does Fear Fire Foes do?
So it's for the mirror. It deals X damage to a creature and then 1 to every other creature that player controls. So typically what that means is if I pay 3 mana, it's killing a Johnny and all of the X ones.
Got it. Okay.
Without, I think, hitting his own creature. So as opposed to like the power of a Pyroclasm hitting both players, this would only hit the opponent's stuff. So because it specifically deals a bunch of 1 damage, and this deck is mostly 1 toughness creatures, allows them to bring that in. We're playing against a Grixis deck, and my brain is thinking about Ob Nixilis and Nile Spellbomb.
Well, let's take a look at David's deck list then, if you're talking about that. He didn't submit one, but he told me just to grab the most stock list I could find off Goldfish.
That was our instruction.
That's what I've done here.
For
there's the spell bombs. I don't see Ob Nixilis in this list.
Yeah, so we're looking at things like Consign to Memories, which wouldn't be a part of this matchup, Spell Pierce, Surgical Extraction, Molten Collapse, Pyroclasm, which you're going to find out a lot of these red decks, Nile Spellbombs, and Damping Spheres. So if we have access to things like Pyroclasms, they'll most likely be brought in. Any of these big sweepers to have a good effect. But the thing is that Clark is playing the versions with Hand Disruption to try to beat the cards that are brought in to beat them. So we'll have to kind of see what that back and forth is like. If David also has things like these Nile Spell Bombs, any sort of cards for attacking the graveyard. Flage is still always an important and pivotal part of the matchups, but you see a lot of folks leaning on cards like Nile Spellbomb or Soul Guide Lantern that if they don't need to attack down Flages, they at least cycle and draw cards. So we'll most likely see some piece of graveyard hate and those sweepers if you got them.
All right, we'll head back down to the action here as players shuffle up for game 2. David will be on the draw, or excuse me, play, presumably.
Clark just stared into my soul. I don't know if you had experienced that as well, but that's a-okay.
That's the joy of the face cams.
Yeah, I actively want Clark to stare into my soul, so we're all good here.
I'm going to take a look at our leaderboard real quick as well. Clark is in 13th place.
13th? What?
David is in 18th.
Jeez, what a busy
Here,
league
let's
out there.
look at adjusted total. Hold on. That would move Clark into 11th.
Dang.
And David's still at 18th.
Clark too busy winning RCQs to play in his locals.
Yeah, absolutely. We're about halfway done here. For those unfamiliar with the structure, it's going to be 10 weeks this time instead of our usual 12. Drop the lowest one score.
Allows everybody that week off for life.
That was the most feedback we got is that
people didn't want to feel bad about missing weeks for vacation or whatnot.
Yeah, it's a weekly local, so you don't want to feel pressure. But obviously, people enjoyed the slightly added stakes of the league, so we've continued to do it here. If you're looking to play Modern not in the league, all of the winter season will be non-league play.
Oh, cool.
Just because so many people are gone for the holidays, you know.
Yeah,
consistent
that's fair.
attendance seems pretty hard. We'll start season 4 probably in January is what I was guessing.
Okay. I forgot that it was October. My brain did not process that we are in that season. Like, didn't process that. Like, oh yeah, we're near that winter time. My brain just.
I had my once a year required pumpkin spice latte today.
Oh, I had mine over the weekend.
Yeah, I once again discovered I still don't like it.
They're better with chai tea than they are with coffee.
Interesting. Maybe I don't know if it's worth trying again, to be honest.
But shout outs, players starting here in the way that they always do. Boros deck playing a 1-drop. Yep, it's Guide of Souls. And the opponent's deck getting their mana base set up.
If I was to play Modern, I do think I would play the Guide of Souls deck just because I am such a Soul Sisters sucker.
Yeah. Would you play the Martyr deck instead?
The Martyr deck?
Yeah, so it's like the mono white control deck based around using life gain plus the 1 ring to really outvalue your opponent. Was super popular as a anti pre MH3 deck.
I mean, I could be convinced. The 1 ring is pretty good. I do enjoy drawing
and it's
cards.
really good with gaining a lot of life.
I like gaining life. I play Angels right now. That's probably what I'll do when I go home. That or Balatro.
Can Death Shadow beat Infinite Life? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Can Energy beat Infinite Life? I don't think so.
Hey, hit me. Okay. Hit me again.
Can Blue Eye Control beat Infinite Life? I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know.
Can Goblins beat Infinite Life? Yes.
Yes.
Can Necro Dominance beat Infinite Life? Absolutely not.
No.
It's a tried and true. Shout out to Mason Grode, player on the NRG series. Big fan of playing Heliod combo at modern events.
Yes, he is.
Unplayable deck on Moto. Almost unbeatable deck in person, though.
Oh, he's put up some really good results with it. He's also the only person I know that plays it.
But because people can't do anything about Infinite Life. What if you just, oops, Infinite Life?
Yeah.
Nobody can do anything about it. This Boros deck, are you kidding me?
I mean, the blue-white decks, I will say, do have, like, counter spells, so they can stop you from getting to the
But once you have it, they'll
Yeah.
never be able to finish you.
For sure.
If they just go counterspell and you go Coco, oops, Infinite Life, what are they going to do about that?
Oh my god, can we talk about this cat token?
The Blim?
That is so cute. Is that his cat?
I
or
believe
is it
these are
just-
Clark's cats. We'll have to
Aw.
check with Clark, but I believe the 2 cat tokens are real cats.
That's lovely. That's real cute. That cat can be an angel. I'll
Yeah,
allow it.
That cat is an angel.
Not yet. Soon.
Well, in hearts, but soon in game.
Mechanically,
Mechanically speaking, not yet.
just a frog on David's side to the cats on Clark's side. What a matchup.
Flying frog.
Gonna jump it into the air, exiling those cards. Hit for
Yeah.
1, just needs the card draw.
Yeah.
Flicked it so fast, could not see what it was.
I want to know if David's drawing to sweepers. Cards like Toxic Deluge, Pyroclasm, like they're needed soon.
I think you're onto something there. I see I
We got
see
a
spot
Bowman.
removal only, though.
Yeah, I saw push and Bowman, so there's at least answers to stuff.
I saw a heat as well.
Yeah, so a lot of answers. But David here drawing Basic Island, again, a card that can't cast any of the removal spells.
Amped Raptor onto the stack. Nod of Ascent from David. See what we flip over here.
So much energy for Clark already.
Another
Ampter. Hey, it looks good, though.
Looks good. Board widening ever more with
David.
the energy deck.
Okay, David's deck is playing Death Shadow. I got to imagine Toxic Deluge is in this list somewhere. And if so, we got to find him.
I mean, Pyroclasm can just be enough, though, right?
Yes, and specifically, frogs and DRCs should be able to get around them most of the time. David, love this. Let your opponent attack with the Guided Soul. Let them spend the energy to make it big, and then kill it. Because you either take one in combat, no problem. But if they try to go for more, you can kill it, and you probably wanted to kill it anyways.
Hits the third land drop there.
Yeah, but I haven't seen the oopsie sweep skis yet.
We'll fetch shock down to 14 to Clark's full 20. It's now Spell Bomb still sitting uncracked as well.
Yeah, this might be a double removal spell turn for David.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of spot removal. Might as well use it if you got nothing better to do.
Yes.
Not quite delirious, but Clark's got small creatures, so that's not too much of a worry. Tapped out as well, missed his third land drop.
David, I think your deck should have a mountain in it, as opposed to this island.
Oh, we'll play out a blocker instead in Dragon's Rage Channeler, as well as a Bauble Trigger Channeler.
Yep, trying to get delirious.
Bin.
Spell Pierce.
Spell Pierce. Oh, that's a fancy one.
Yeah, that's from the Secret Lair events, the Murktide events. That's the participation promo, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, the winner was the Murktide.
Was the Murktides. Well, the winner was the Dark Red.
Yes.
Whew.
That's pretty.
Oh, thank you, Clark.
Land on top from the bauble.
Yeah. Oh, and the beautiful RCQ promo Unholy Heats for David, too. I'm a big fan of those.
That's the one I feel like I see the most is the Unholy
Heats.
Oh,
well, we played a lot of that season.
Yeah. All right, going to combat here. Looks like he's jumping the frog again?
Yep, yeah. David knows his graveyard's under attack, so using his opportunity to jump the frog.
Down to 19 for Clark, draws and passes back.
Drew Watery Grave, so it's going to actually have access. Drawing for this bauble.
Finds the black source for Clark in a fetch.
Yeah, Clark is continuing to amass this board state.
We'll go to combat, swing with everything. Just the Channeler as a blocker, 2 mana up.
Here comes the Bowmaster. Shoot this Ocelot Pride, please. Yes.
We'll clean up that. I assume the Orc Army's going to go under the bus.
Are you
somewhere.
about to learn these Raptors have first strike? Oh no. Oh, boy, oh, geez. Clark's hand has 2 copies of Flage in it.
Really? Oh, my lord.
Yeah, I think it's
Seems
Flage.
good.
I think it's Flage, Ring, Bowmaster. It is, in fact, Flage, Ring, Bowmaster.
And he will just assign those blockers, or the one blocker, excuse me.
Yep.
Just to save some damage there. Down to 10. Clark goes down to 16 to fetch and shock.
So if I'm Clark, I actually think I might send this Flage damage at the Psychic Frog, because if David wants to keep the frog, he has to discard 2 cards, and then I get to pop the Spell Bomb and kind of take all those cards away.
Okay.
Because the DRC, kind of nothing, the Bowmaster, kind of nothing. The frog is the one that's going to give me the most trouble. And this could allow Clark to just force some action.
Clark's shaking his head a little bit, doesn't seem to be very happy with his current position.
Because also if we target the frog and David discards cards and we crack the Spell Bomb, David won't have cards to feed to the frog if he tries to keep it around, and we can just block that thing.
Oh. Well.
But David is currently non-delirious. But the question is he going to discard cards? And he is not. We're going to let that thing get shot down by the Bowmaster.
All right, so we'll clean up the Dragon Rage Channeler in Clark's main phase there.
Yeah, this is also interesting. Clark declining to not cast the Flage to kill that card off, and instead using the Bowmaster, burning a mana here in this Aether Hub.
Jared says Shadow sucks right now because Flage and aggro is very good.
Yeah.
I think that's what he meant to type.
Being aggressive to your own life total gets harder and harder the lower it is. But Dave right now kind of floating around a sweet spot of his deck just has a 1-mana 3/3 in it. But it gets riskier and riskier the lower your life total. That we saw David got himself in trouble in game number 1. Got a little too low and got aggroed out. A game that he dealt 5 damage to himself on turn 1.
Yeah. No, that Goyf was packing a punch too. That's a swell blocker if you can find it here.
Real swell.
Now Spellbomb of his own.
Yep, this card increasing in popularity because it can allow you to cycle and draw a card while actively dealing with Flages.
Life total is standing at 16 to 10 in Clark's favor. He's drawn for turn and goes to combat swinging with the team minus the Bowmaster.
See, all of these have 1 toughness. Like, it's so easy to take care of these, but you just have to draw the cards to do it. David, most likely going to feed a card to this frog so it can eat one of these Amped Raptors.
It's a 1/2 base or 1/3?
1/2 base, yeah.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, moves to blocks, blocking 1 raptor with the frog, leaving the rest unblocked. Oh, still in blocks, excuse me. We'll send the Bowmaster after one of the cats.
If I was David, I think I might just pitch this Mishra's Bauble through the frog at some point.
Unholy Heat at the unblocked raptor.
Yep.
Raptor.
Yep, this old Ampter here, and then bobble through the frog.
Pitch.
Yep.
Buff. Damage.
David ends up taking 2 damage from combat there, cleaning up a lot of Clark's board, but being low on resources himself.
Main phase 2 for Clark has that Flage.
Flage this frog. Because the frog has 2 points of damage on it from being in combat.
He's going to clean up the graveyard first,
Yep.
which is out of order of the way you
That's okay. It's okay.
you predicted.
Because now we can't cast the Flage, and this frog's gonna get to live.
Oh, because of the Aether Hub. Because you need.
You just need 3 mana.
Oh right. Yes.
But Clark drawing.
I was thinking Lightning Helix mana, not Flage mana.
Clark drawing impactful 2-drops though, getting into Johnny into play here.
Oh, a different cat.
Yeah, the 2-1's a different cat. This one's being aggro. You see, that's a 2-power cat.
Oh, it looks so angry. Look at it.
It's very angry.
It's yelling.
It's yelling. And here's a Cling to Dust. So important, if Cling eats a creature, you gain life. It equals if it takes a non-creature, you draw a card. David going after a creature, seeing this Bowmaster in play.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say card draw just seems better than life gain for a Death Shadow deck, right?
Yep.
But life totals can only get so low. Now sitting at 11 to 16 in Clark's favor.
Yeah, and drawing that card would have dealt David 2 damage, 1 from the Bowmaster, 1 from the increased power on the Orc army. Wasn't worth it.
That's true too. I forgot about the Amass.
See, this is the thing about these Boros decks, right? Just continuing to push pressure with these little guys, and if something goes wrong, hand of double Flage in a ring. So the question now is just waiting for something to go wrong. Express delivery here to the NRG team.
Let's go. I've completed my playset, boys.
For the chat.
Special guest collected companies. We got the Scooby-Doo team-up card, boys.
They are Scooby-Doo in it. It's Scooby-Doo colors and everything.
I love it so much.
Flage coming in to play and going directly after David's life total.
Excuse me, I got distracted here, folks.
So...
There we go, there we go.
If I was Clark, maybe I Flage my own 1/1 cat to flip my Ajani. This is kind of part of the Boros plan, is sometimes killing your own cats.
Double spell here for David. DRC
just
into
a bunch of these
Death
1-drops.
Shadow.
This
Hellbent
Shadow is...
for him.
Shadow's an 8/8, though.
Shadow is an 8/8.
But if Clark pushes through to get just any damage here in combat, he can follow it up with a second Flage in his hand. So, yeah,
the
Clark...
swinging is
right?
A little scary,
if
though,
Clark
because that Death
swings,
Shadow is big.
yeah, if he swings, he gets 1 point of damage in, puts it down to 4, Flage down to 1. So Clark is a point of damage away from figuring this all out. And it might be using this Bowmaster in his hand to kind of navigate through this.
He's got a Galvanic Discharge as well he could use.
Yeah, he's got a big bank of energy over there that we can't see.
He's going to use that first to clean up the frog.
Now this ensures that if he goes to combat, he can get 2 damage through.
But now only has he's been missing land drops a lot, and it's really forcing him to get creative.
It just means he's got tons of juice. Love this play. So this is the classic Ajani play pattern of just attack with your 2/1. Because if your opponent blocks, your Ajani flips and you get another 2/1. If they don't block, they're just taking 2. And the play here is to keep applying damage.
Oh my gosh. Dude, what if he was sandbagging the land drop so hard? Oh my gosh.
He sure wasn't. A bobble off the top for David.
Oh man.
Surveil trigger. Clark is most likely going to shoot with this Bowmaster before the Surveil because David is a card away from Delirium.
And that's the game.
David saw it too.
And the match, Clark winning in pretty strong fashion there.
David pointing at the Bowmaster, an incredible piece in this matchup. Clark still had all these of these double Flage ring as the leftovers.
Dude, what? Oh my god. How do you feel about your opponent when you lose to your opponent and then your opponent shows you how much more dead you were? Like after the fact.
Are we homies?
Sure, yes. I consider Clark a homie.
Then
if Clark's
then totally fine. Totally fine. If I don't know you, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Oh, dang. It got real for a second there. All right. That was our main feature match. We're going to head into our backup match here where we've got Brian and Min. Tepper Control versus Amulet Titan. I believe Tepper is up a game. I'm going to check real quick.
We're going to go check. I'm going to give you guys the lowdown of what's going on right now here. And it looks like it's been resolving a Primeval Titan ETB trigger. So we're in game 3. Great, love it. Looks like Min currently grabbing 2 lands here, which I believe is the resolution for Min of this Primeval Titan trigger. Grabbing, it appears to be Crumbling Vestige and Talaria West. Brian Tepper with a ring on 1 makes me believe that Tepper may have ring protection currently, as that'd be the kind of the status of a recently played ring. Hasted Primeval Titan, I love doing this as well, playing Titan of, yes, your opponent has ring protection, but they don't have Primeval Titan attack trigger protection. But this Leyland Binding says that they do.
Yeah, you cannot go to attacks, friend. So sorry.
Min playing Hedge Maze here, untapped for the Spelunking.
You still get the Surveil, though. There are some where if they come in, it's only when they come in tap that you get those effects.
Yeah, and there's some that care when a thing enters untapped. Say playing the combo deck I played in Pioneer for a while, the Spelunking and the blue Dwarven Mine. What's it called?
Mystic Sanctuary?
Mystic Sanctuary.
Oh, I see. Very cool.
Because it triggers off entering untapped, which Spelunking will do.
Right.
But here's Beseju on that prime time, allowing Min to reactivate this ETB. And again, Brian has protection, but doesn't have protection from Min ramping 4 lands worth this turn from Primeval Titan trigger number 1 and now trigger number 2. What Min can do is, if Min still has a Vesuva available, Vesuva the haste land and find a red source, and we can haste this Primeval Titan anyways.
Yeah, right?
And I would really actively have interest in finding the card that is really, really, really good against helping you beat control and shifting woodland.
What does that card do? It's been a minute.
It's a land that if you have Delirium can become a copy of any card in your graveyard.
Oh.
So what it allows you to do is turn after turn have this very hard to interact with card for your control opponent to face down.
I see.
Min instead looks like grabbing Beseju. And because it may have been Beseju bounce land, right, to have an active card to attack the mana base down. It is shifting woodland from in there for land choice number 1.
Can you loop Beseju? Or no, because you have to get it back from the graveyard because you have to discard it. Because I was going to say with the bounce land, you can like loop stuff. But
Min may be working towards loops.
I don't watch Titan like ever, so I'm learning the lines as I watch it.
Are shifting woodlands to copy your Aftermath Analyst and Aftermath Analysting over and over and over again, because the woodland is a copy that goes to the yard, but then comes back to the land in the yard.
Oh.
So it allows you to just keep going.
Cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. I say biasly. Now, here's the important part about Amulet Titan postboard. Min's plan most likely here is ramp, attack you with my 6/6. The combo plans, very hard to do. A lot of counterspell, a lot of interaction. The putting a 6/6 into play and trying to turn it sideways, feasible, manageable, possible.
In Tepper's hand, I think I see both a subtlety and a solitude, which could
Yeah.
have something to say about that combat-based
And a
attack
Wrath of the
plan.
Skies, which is really good against Amulet.
Galvanic Discharge looks like a tune as well.
So I say, oh yeah, you can get a 6/6. Brian has all these answers for 6/6s, but then Min can turn a land into a Primeval Titan, and then turn another land because Min found 2 Shifting Woodlands with that search.
I misread his hand. It's not a subtlety, but he does have the solitude.
He does have the Solitude. The blue card's a Narset. Just shout
It's
out.
a Narset? Oh my
Yeah.
lord. Where's George?
Yeah.
I need
Min
George
was-
to sign a Narset for me.
Great choice. I have he signed my Days Undoing.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Min was second Primeval Titan, specifically leaving the haste land untapped, but not a red source untapped.
Is that a crumbling vet? Is that the stronghold? What is that? What's the beige land?
Which one is the beige land?
The leftmost one in the under the Titan.
Henry Battlements, the haste
Oh,
land.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm trying my hardest, folks. Dom is much more knowledgeable about Titan than I am, which is why we generally don't put it on camera.
Here's Vesuva. It's going to copy a land in play. So this might be Min's access to getting a red source. We'll kind of see what the game actions show us.
One thing I'm not seeing from Tepper is any sort of counter magic.
No, but tons of interaction pieces. And now we have the Lotus Field. Now, Lotus Field, as many of you may know from other formats, ETB is going to force Min to sacrifice 2 lands. But this is kind of the beginnings of getting those Aftermath Analyst loops set up, because you can eventually sack Lotus Field to itself so that you always have fuel coming back over and over again. Min using it here to just make tons of mana. Looks like using
There's
it for the red mana.
Yeah. Give haste to the Titan.
Oh, yeah. Min with an Odawara in hand, too, for any piece of onboard interaction.
Here
But this
comes
Solitude.
the Solitude. Hard cast will clean up the non-hasted Titan. Bring Min up to 25.
Yeah, very importantly gaining life, but this Solitude does not rumble with the power and size of the 6/6 primetime. Tepper's going to try to unlock the ring.
Oh, Minimo.
Oh, yeah.
Draw more.
Drawing more.
Oh, was it 2 lands and and another Narset? Oh my goodness.
Wow, these cards are nothing.
That's a hot.
So primetime going to combat, getting another trigger. Min, we're gonna see. Looks like another shifting woodland. Nope, we're gonna go Simic Growth Chamber here. And then I'm wondering if Min has any big in a cavern. Great.
Ooh.
Continue to push through against this deck. And the Growth Chamber will be able to pick up something a little more worthwhile, say this Telerio West in the mana base.
That's the Transmute
That's the
one?
Transmute. It transmutes specifically for 0, so it can find lands and Summoner's Pact. It's kind of like the original piece of this toolbox. Everyone, welcome to the puzzle. T-West is, in fact, picked up by Min. Combat, blocked here by Solitude. Primetime on top of everything else, got Trample.
Oh, yes, it does. Oh, my goodness. So gain 3, take 3.
Yeah. So if I was Min, I would
take 4? Yeah. It's a 3/2, right?
Yeah. I would have at least realized that I don't think Brian has another removal spell. I personally am currently playing Kessig Wolfrun in my Titan deck. I would use it as an opportunity to get a lot of damage.
What's Kessig Wolfrun do?
Plus X plus O and Trample.
Okay.
For X green red. So it allows you an outlet to push all of your stored mana into. Min instead also grabbing Cultivator Colossus here, which means
is what it is. Oh
the
my
cavern
goodness.
might be on Beast.
Cultivator Colossus. I'll pull that one up for people.
Cavern on Beast casts Cultivator Colossus and Arboreal Grazers. And land drop and a pick it up, and it's Cultivator Colossus time for Min.
There you are.
This trigger, very fun to track. So it's going to feel weird because Min might put bounce lands into play along the way here. None of the triggers from any of these lands happen until we have fully resolved the full ETB from Colossus, which is repeating this over and over and over again. And because Min has Spelunking and not an Amulet, none of these are triggers. They're just untapped and in play. And now Min is resolving triggers. You can see the Hedge Maze Surveil being resolved. There's the crumbling vestige of floating a certain color of mana. And then we do have the Lotus Field sack, I think, as the last piece here Min has to process.
Oh my goodness, so much math. Look at him count.
Right. And very importantly for Min, along the way, while we were dumping all those lands and play, Colossus drew cards. So Min now telegraphing 2 Tepper, as we see both Lotus Fields going away.
Okay.
Processing 2 Tepper, that Min has a handful of only spells. And it's starting with this Aftermath. This Lumra. Oh my goodness.
My goodness.
So Lumra is going to be a huge mill 4, and then bring all the lands in graveyard back to play.
Yo.
So this could be at least those 2 Lotus Fields, plus any of the other lands over the game. So TOS, Vestige, Boseiju, Forest, Echoing Deeps. And very importantly, Echoing Deeps is entering from the graveyard, but the last zone that it was previously in was the graveyard, so it can still target any of the cards that it came into play with.
Okay, I heard all the words you just said. I need...
Because it copies a card in a graveyard, but it's either in the graveyard or in play. So when it's checking to go into play, it checks that current graveyard. So it can target the things that it came with.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got it.
So it's most likely a 3rd Lotus Field here. And now Min is activating this Shifting Woodland.
Oh my goodness, look at the board states.
Yes, as you know, every time we have Titan on camera, this happens.
I feel like I'm watching. Oh, which Pro Tour was it? I think it was the most recent one with Nadu.
Yes.
Just like, oh my goodness.
Min here is... So what Min is doing is
does he
demonstrating
have any more
this
lands?
loop.
How many lands does Titan
well,
have?
Min has emptied the deck using this loop alongside Mirror Pool to copy Titan over and over and over and over and over again.
To copy it as a creature or copy the triggers?
To copy Make a Titan. So
Copy Make
all
a
of the
Titan.
Mirror Pools, so now we've gotten every land out of the deck. They're all currently in play. And then Min needs to pick up this TOS, and then you can TOS for Summoner's Patch.
And then you can give him haste?
So that's the thing. We've went to combat this turn already.
Oh. So Tepper's not dead this turn. This is just a setup turn? Or is there a combo kill somewhere?
It does look to be a setup turn as the One Ring has been cast now.
Okay.
Okay, there was an Aftermath Analyst in the graveyard. So Min just shortcutting that combo, but what it does is as long as you have Delirium, the Shifting Woodlands becomes an Analyst, pays 4 and activates itself, which puts the Woodlands in the yard, which means it comes back to the Aftermath Analyst trigger.
Haven't drawn enough cards. We'll get one off the ring.
Yeah, Min just cashing in the protection here.
You know, everything it draws heat when you have all your lands in play.
Right. And the thing is yes, Tepper has all this interaction and these controlling cards, but Tepper's going to need to keep up with Min having access to literally every source of mana.
Right.
And Lumra is power and toughness equal to land you control.
Yes, it is.
I love this bear so much, and it's so big.
She's really good. There was a Golgari lands build
Standard?
I was playing with a little bit.
I'm in love with that deck.
I played against... I think the person that created it, Dawn, in Madison, and then I loved it so much, and I played it online, but it's not a paper deck for me. So many triggers. Oh my gosh, I would have so many dexterity errors.
So Min, after all this, passes the turn back. So last I had played this deck, I played with a 1-of Desert from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, so that when you start doing this loop, you deal 1 damage every time. What happens is people stop playing the cute cards, make the deck as lean as possible. Min just goes, well, here's everything. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. I'm used to seeing Tepper take up more of the clock than his opponent, but Min's had their fair share here.
Min is now actively Boseiju looping on Brian. That is what you see happening. That's why all the lands are gone and only the basics are remaining.
Okay.
Because the Boseiju will enter the graveyard, and then you can sacrifice a bounce land when you're doing the loop and pick up the Boseiju every time and then channel the Boseiju. So Min is shortcutting that.
Got it. Okay.
Hey, remember Nadu?
I do.
It could be worse. Brian, with a ring on 3 and 3 basics in play, passes the turn back. Tons of cards in hand, but not many of them can do anything.
Tap the ring. Tap the ring. Yeah! More cards.
More cards. This Lumra is going to hit for so big.
She a big girl.
Lumra is huge. And if you have borderless copies by the Pokemon artist, please let me know because I want them so bad.
By the Pokemon artist?
Yeah, so there's 2 alt art Lumras. One is by the OG Pokemon artist who did like Charizard and Venusaur and all those. Did the big angry bear and not the like notebook sketch style ones, but like the big full art one.
Yes, yes.
all these dice shows the like infinite prime times that Min has.
Yes. We need a die that just says infinity on it.
Just says I win.
I guess in Magic you do have to like declare a number, right? You can't just say
most
infinite.
people choose 69,420.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great choice.
Sure.
But you never know. It looks like Min may have chosen 13. Tepper realized after staring his hand for a while that, yep, he was in fact dead, and Min can pick them all up.
All right, our Amulet Titan player advances to 2-0 on the night. We might see more of them later. That'll wrap up coverage for round 2. We'll be right back after a quick break.
Bye.
Welcome back, folks, to round 3 of Wednesday Night Modern here at Nerd Rage Gaming. I'm going to get these folks started off. Dom, tell us what we're watching.
We have Eldrazi Ramp in the hand of Andres against AJ, a tried and true hammer time player. Here on your right side, we're going to quick little adjust, get that life total perfectly on screen for these fine folks here. We'll get these life totals readjusted here in just a hot second, get everybody ready to go. Andres here playing the deck that I am actively going to buy cards for in about an hour from now. So I miss playing big spaghetti monsters. So this should be lovely to see Andres here. And again, like I said, AJ, a tried and true hammer player.
We've seen him on camera a few times playing hammer.
One of our 2 stalwart players here playing hammer.
What happened to Sam?
Yeah, Sam's just busy. I was talking to Sam. Sam will be back soon. But AJ, one of the other remaining hammer stalwarts here.
Is Andres tweeting?
Oh, yeah. AJ playing hammer, a deck that was so fun to play with Nadu. And just continuing to jam. AJ was never even a Nadu gamer, just always played classic.
It was like, I felt like Nadu and hammer was almost okay.
Oh, yeah. That was
because it wasn't the main game plan.
That was peanut butter and jelly, not peanut butter and atomic bomb. You know what I mean? So...
Sure. Yeah, I understand the sentiment.
Yeah. So that was a taste. Everyone was like, "Wow, cool, yeah, hammer." Versus being like, "Oh gosh, this again."
Get the conveyor belt out.
Yeah. Rapid fire here. AJ planes into Esper Sentinel. Andres with a Forest Pass. Urza Saga, not even a store champ promo version.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
Kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Into Sigarda's Aid. Bonk, 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 bonk.
Goes to combat. Andres. He's got the hammer.
Take 11.
Do you have interaction with your single forest, sir?
No.
I think not.
How about
also
now?
Cast
and
a
Andres is
spell.
dead. Andres is dead. Picked it up.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, did I say I was excited to play Eldrazi? I was just kidding.
What does he even have? Does he play like Arboreal Grazer? I'm trying to think of anything he could have to block.
So
or deal with the hammer.
What Andres was very likely to do, let's say Andres was on the play this game, right?
Yeah.
Would have been able to go land and then land Talisman and then have 4 mana on turn 3, which would have been like a Myco Spawn to block or whatever.
Sure.
But AJ didn't give that kind of time.
No, he won the die roll.
Yeah. Andres also could have accessed like a Kozilek's command for 1 to exile the Esper Sentinel, but never even got to get anywhere near a 3rd source of mana. And that's game 1 taken care of already. Welcome to round 3.
That was a mulligan to 5, by the way, as well.
Well, yeah, AJ saw, looks like land in those 3 cards, and that's the perfect 5er.
All right. Neither of these players have submitted through our Discord, so I've grabbed stuff off of Goldfish. No, it's okay. They'll get there eventually.
Just kidding.
I teach a player about the decklist submission, like, at least 1 every week. So we're slowly gaining the ability to get more of these user-submitted deck lists on here. This one is a 76-card list from Goldfish, though. Looking at this sideboard, a couple of things AJ could be working with.
Yeah, so what's lovely about this list here, though AJ may not be doing so, is the reemergence of putting Solitude back in the hammer list. Understanding that's kind of one of the only ways they can fight back against like the Through the Breach strategies, or sometimes these big frogs or Murktides that could be troublesome. So this version here on screen, you're going to see stuff like the Razorgrass Ambush and Witch Enchanter. These are ways to get white sources into the deck and actual playable cards, versus before, when this deck had to play Amiria's Call just to get enough white sources. So this sideboard, you're looking at stuff like Drannith Magistrate, Sanctifier on Vex, Sun Cleanser, Solitude, Deafening Silence, Soul Guide Lantern, Vexing Bauble, and Damping Spheres. Here's the fun part. We're playing at locals, right? So typically these players will play week on, week off, and kind of know what other people are playing. If that is the case, and AJ has cards like Damping Sphere or anything to attack the mana base, you bring those in. If you're playing in the blind and your opponent went Forest Scoop, I have no idea what they're doing.
I'm trying to think. You could be
Yogg. You could be any of these green-based Eldrazi decks. You could have been Titan. Like,
I was going to say you could be Titan, yeah.
So if you're looking in the blind, and you're playing against a forest, maybe you bring in cards like Damping Sphere and Solitude and just be like, they're a green deck. I'm sure they're up to nonsense.
Right.
But that's going to be up to AJ.
All right, we'll take a look at an example Eldrazi ramp deck list as well here.
Yeah, so this one looks to me to be very similar to probably close-ish to what Andres is playing out there. Remember that sometimes the sideboards are Karn boards. So that'll be an important part to keep track of when we're looking at game number 2 and 3 if we get there for Andres, is if they are playing Karn or not.
I will point out Andres is still sideboarding, so probably some amount of non-Karn sideboard cards.
Yeah, you can see in this version here, right, looking at cards like Consign, Spell Snare, Kozilek's Return, definitely non-Karn sideboard cards. People are kind of starting to, I heard on Jerry Thompson's podcast earlier today of like, when you're playing a toolbox deck, trying to trim the toolbox down as small as you can. So maybe people are playing their Karn packages and playing like 5, 6, 7 cards to allow them 8 actual sideboard cards to work with. So you can see that with this Eldrazi ramp deck, right? Of like kind of limiting the artifact package and having real like Haymaker sideboard cards. So we'll have to see from Andres what sort of cards they're bringing in. But if they have access to something like a Consign to Memory, incredible against Hammer.
All right, we'll head back down to the action here. Looks like Andres is still sideboarding, so while we wait, I'll remind you folks, if you're enjoying the content, to hit that follow button or subscribe button if you're over on YouTube. We're live every Wednesday at 6:30 with Modern coverage and live every Thursday with Pokemon coverage. We'd love for you to stick around and let us know what you're enjoying about the content. We love to improve all the time.
So I'm seeing Andres cycle through his deck here. I'm seeing multiple copies of Emrakul, the World Anew, and Utopia Sprawls. This deck is a deck that recently caught my eye of like kind of turbo Emrakul, of trying to get the take your turn Emrakul, the Promised End, into play.
So not even like a through the breach, like cheated in.
Right. This is I want that trigger.
Yeah.
Eldrazi.
I want that cast trigger.
And that's why we saw when they were going through the deck list earlier, cards like Malevolent Rumble, right? Allowing you to search for haymaking cards while milling over to get really close to Delirium. Well, Big Emrakul has kind of super Delirium, right? Of being discounted 1 for every card type. So not just looking for 4, but for as many as you possibly can.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Still.
Hey, this is important, right? Andres got time, right? Died on
right.
basically turn number 2.
They have coverage time plus a very short game 1 amount of time. Let's talk about the series for a second.
Yeah, and it looks like Andres bringing Consigned to Memories and Trinispheres. Smart choices. What's up, T?
What's up? Oh, my goodness. Folks, wouldn't you know, Taylor Swift decided to get in the way of our Indianapolis event.
Yeah, she was actually going to come play Modern that day, which is wild. She was going to play Modern Angels. I was so excited.
I know. I was really pumped, too. But she decided to host a little concert instead and book all the hotels within an hour radius of our event. So we have relocated the event to Elmhurst, Illinois instead, a little more local to our area. So a lot more people going to be attending that event. Really competitive Magic going to be happening. We're streaming the event, twitch.tv/energy series. We're giving away $15,000 in prize money plus sides.
And how many invites to Energy Champs?
2 invites, folks.
7. 8?
What? Oh, because it's the last
final event of the season.
Oh, right.
So not only is it the winners of both of these showdowns, but all the at-large bids will be determined from this event.
Yes.
And then MVP will also be determined because this will be the final event of the overall season.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of money up for grabs as well as points as well.
A teammate of mine is currently in first, and I would
Garrick?
we would love it.
Garrick is kicking butt over on the series right now, and George is kicking butt in the local leaderboard as well. He's currently number 1 there as well. I'll point out Andres is number 8 currently.
Do you know the meme from the one of the Avengers movies that says, "We have an army, but we have a Hulk"?
Oh, yeah.
We have the same meme, but it says we have a Garrick.
Garrick is kind of hulky. He's stacked.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Beautiful man. Shout out to Garrick if you're in chat. Love you.
Speaking of a beautiful man,
Gingy
here goes Ginger Brute onto the field.
Yeah, speaking of a powerful G, we got Ginger Brute and some chats about Garrick.
Folks, who are you? Wait, Taylor Swift plays MTG? Yeah, her and Post Malone.
Yeah, her and
talk about it all the time.
It was actually when they did their duet together. Posty sat down and played some 1v1 dual commander. Would you believe it?
Yeah, I heard he's a Tameo player, though. He's got to find a new card.
Yeah, he would literally play with his 1/1 ring on the chain, though, which is like the impressive part.
Speaking of Garrick, where are the control players at? They're at the bottom table. I'm so sorry.
You didn't watch them get beat up by Titan last round?
Yeah, you should watch the VOD from last week. That's a much more favorable feature of control.
Oh, Ancient Stirrings. Be Still My Beating Heart. I've not cast this card in some time.
Classic. Oh my
And
goodness.
they put the digital-only version of Ancient Stirrings art in Mystery Booster 2. Now you get the one with the beautiful little cat looking up at you in the
Yes.
Future Sight frame.
So many more arts for me to learn. Now I have to know digital Moto arts as well.
Or
Vintage Masters.
you can also get Toralf's Disciple, the card that shuffles 4 lightning bolts into your deck.
I just picked out my new collected company art, right? And then they printed it in Mystery Booster too.
Yeah, but that one's good.
I agree.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo in it.
Retro frame foils though? Ooh.
Now, AJ here, Stoneforge Mystic for Cauldra. This is the old school. A lot of players abandoned Cauldra for quite some time. And then if you know Disgruntled Elk, kind of our hammer go-to, start slowly posting lists of putting Cauldra back in. AJ, I think, never left. I believe AJ has been jamming Cauldra. That when we played a Hammer Mirror a few months ago, I lost specifically because AJ had Cauldra in his deck and I did not.
Yeah, Cauldron's a great card. Generally, when you see them grab a Cauldron, it's because they already have a hammer in hand. Sometimes they grab a hammer because they have one in hand as well, though.
Yeah, and I think this Cauldron is because AJ wants to end this game as soon as possible. So converting this Stoneforge into just this hasty 5/5.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have a way to get the hammer out. Or at least he hasn't played one yet. Cauldron comes with a creature attached to it.
But AJ at least gets to crack this fetch, and we'll be cracking Urza Saga next turn. So if AJ can find something like a Pure Steel Paladin, still access to finding a hammer and equipping it ASAP.
What he's done this game, though, is allowed Andres to play a little magic. So he might
you got to resolve the Talisman and an Ancient Stirring.
He might be able to get into the later turns of a game and start to put some pressure on him with big, beefy spaghetti monsters.
My opponents are allowed to get to turn 3? This ain't right.
Yes, this is Modern where all...
Whoa! Sheesh!
Oh,
sheesh.
That's a pretty...
Look away! Look away! Oh, God, are you okay? Are you okay?
Oh, God, I'm dying over here. Excuse me. Ooh.
Sorry, Surge Foil wondering. Everyone look away. Oh, yeah.
All right, that'll help with the...
Andres, I told you to use the stream dice. What are you grabbing that D20 for?
The combat steps on AJ's side. Got a little protection, got a little draw.
Yep, so AJ's being able to cash this turn in to make a biggest board possible.
Makes an Karnstruct token.
Karnstruct. Saga Search.
On the stack. Probably a hammer, maybe a Shadow Spear.
Oh, the spear would be so good, too.
I love me a spear.
Love it, a spear. Because it makes the race really difficult for opponents.
Yeah, the life gain is so huge in the hammer deck because it's an aggro deck, right? So when it faces other aggro decks, sometimes it really struggles to get through.
Grabbing the boots here.
Know what I'm saying?
Lava Spur Variety.
Oh, I forgot about that one. That's from after I stopped playing Hammer, so I always forget that one.
I love it. It allows the real army in the can of Urza Saga of going Construct, Boot, Haste, Jam. Can allow you to like suddenly attack for 11. Like really convert your Urza Sagas into just 2 massive bodies.
All right, all these creatures and one little ring says, no, you must wait. You shall not pass.
You shall not. This should have been you shall not pass.
All right. All right, doing the artifact count there for the token. Down to 18, fetching once more.
Yeah.
Andre's biding his time. Can you see what's in his hand at all, Dom?
No, it's directly perpendicular to my sight. But I can see that they have Delirium 3 in Yard currently. So we're still... Emirate Cool costs 10. Andres has access to 5 mana.
Plays out a Springleaf Drum as his last spell for turn. Down to 11 from the bird encounters on the ring. Draws 3.
2.
Lots of cards. What's he gonna do with them all?
Hopefully cycle another ring, because that's a thing that Hammer actually struggles with is like... But if AJ brought in his own copies of Consign, this Springleaf Drum is a sneaky blue source. Oh, we're thinking. Andres hasn't gotten this far before.
He's played this. I mean, he's 2-0, so he knows.
Oh, absolutely.
He's also 8th on the leaderboard. So.
Yeah. He's fighting it with the big spaghetti monsters.
Indeed. I forgot to shout out Tepper. He's number 1 on the leaderboard, adjusted right now.
Dang.
He's had 2. He had back-to-back 4-0s. So.
You can have a baby and win at Magic? That's not fair.
I know, right?
Ooh.
Man's overpowered.
Eldrazi Temple. So this is 2 netted mana towards the Emrakul count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You think he's already going for Emrakul?
No, we need to get to 10. So
Okay.
we're still 3 short. But it would really help if Andres could get to it.
I would say so, yes. If that doesn't help him out, I think he's not playing the card right. Oh, dude. Just doing some sort of math.
Yeah,
obviously a lot of mana to work with here. A lot of things to play around. AJ's got quite a number of different threats on the board.
Yeah.
Only 11 life. He's obviously facing lethal.
If I'm Andres, I'm trying to do whatever I can to dig for ring. Because I cannot win through this board right now.
Is there a compromise, though? Is there? Oh, my goodness. He's just passing?
All right.
It's got to be a K command.
Might have got to be Kozilek's command for exile, make a ton of blockers.
Yeah, got to be.
But passing it back to giving the blue deck all their mana to work with, Kozilek's return.
Oh.
Forget the command. It's time for the return.
All right, let's get this one pulled up.
Deals 2 damage to all creatures at instant speed. This will eat the Stoneforge and the Sentinel and shrink the construct down to a 3/3.
It does not want to give me this card. There we go.
So
each creature. Why did he wait until his turn, though?
I don't know, because it's an instant?
Yeah, you're not allowed to cast instants on your own.
Right, those are the rules. Everyone knows this.
Honestly,
but here's
that's
AJ
really...
with the Flare. Flare of Fortitude. AJ's been jamming this card. Nobody else been jamming it. But AJ, hiding behind this card. Yeah, if you want to bring up Flare of Fortitude, it's what's about to ruin Andres' plan here.
It's like a Teferi's protection, right?
Kind
of. Or it phases. I forget which card it actually is. The free
this is
of.
Your life total can't change, and then your permanent. Oh, but a second Kozilek's return on Andres and responsible.
Oh, I typed Teferi's
protection.
Oh God, let's get that off the screen. Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry, Modern players. You weren't supposed to see that.
That's not a real card. That's a commander card. Don't worry about it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if Flare did that.
it phases, right? It phases. Please.
You brought up T-Pro again.
No.
It's
there. It's there.
Your life total can't change, permanency and hexproof and indestructible.
Oh.
Andres responded with another Kozilek's return, and looks like AJ is just able to soup it up and get in here with the creatures we had.
Oh my goodness. Is this just a really rough matchup for Eldrazi because
Hammer
so. Goes so fast?
Yeah, this Eldrazi deck just needs time, and that's why I said if I'm Andres, I'm just looking to ring cycle, and if I can't do it, I don't know what I can do.
All right, well, that was our main feature. We'll head into our backup match here where
Hello.
we have Rich and May battling it out with the blue decks.
Okay.
What is going on? Okay, I'm going to go figure it out.
Yep. Oh, boy. Oh, jeez. Oh, heckins. Yep. All right, so we're taking a look here. I believe May being a little silly. I think some of the cards in the yard here are exiled, just being kind of goofs out there, if you will.
That is quite a pile.
Yeah, May currently resolving a surgical extraction on Hedron crabs. Richard's hand is Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Extirpate, and I worry for May that this Hideous Laughter may be the final straw.
Mm-hmm.
So we will see what May is working towards.
Oh, my goodness. Rich has been on Mill for a little bit now. Last league, he seemed to switch around a bit more between decks.
Blue burn.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, Richard was on mono white, you get no lands for a while.
Yeah, he was doing like a Felia thing, I think.
He's also our slime guy.
Yes.
He was out there sliming.
Can't forget the slimes.
Loving the slime time. Slime time was a great time to be out there.
Absolutely.
Megan in here with the 2/2 Manifest Dread and the big 5/5 flying Abhorrent Oculus.
All right, so we are continuing this game. I wasn't sure quite where we were going to end up after those resolutions.
Yeah, the thing is May needs to actively hold up interaction here because Richard could Tasha's Hideous Laughter at any time.
Chatter, we don't have a link for the tournament deck list because they do change every week, right? This is a local, so we're not requiring deck lists.
Oh, May only had one card left in the library.
Oh, gosh.
Only was one card left in the library. What game was this?
That was game 2.
Game 2. Richard taking it down 2-0 on Mill.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I have May's deck list, so we'll pull it up here because all of our matches went so fast.
Folks want to see this. I will say May kind of came with this idea, and then it got really popular over the last week, but May forward with it last week before I got really popular with everybody.
She is She liked it before it was cool.
Yeah, May played this deck in the last Energy RCQ, and there's already another one this weekend.
Copy.
He was playing Ghost Vacuum. Oh, I would have loved to see Ghost Vacuum.
Ooh, that's fun. Oh, this is the wrong way to copy it. Okay, please, can you stall a little bit more?
Yeah, 2 Ghost Vacuum. So May was playing Frog Ball. For those who don't know, this is a new self mill with Unearth in the kind of UB Frog Shell. So people are end up putting Abhorrent Oculus kind of in the place of Murktides. I've seen some people going down to 2 Murktides, but playing the 4 big eyeballs and allowing Unearth to give you access to bringing back your Harbingers, your Frogs, your Bowmasters, and your Eyeballs.
It didn't get everything. Hold on.
So you can start to get a sneak peek here. And it still has the same cards of the blue-black shell. We're talking using things like Consider. We're talking pushes, snares, counterspells, but supplementing them with Unearth and those cantrips and Thought Scour that also self-mill yourself to just use the mana advantage of unearthing for 1 mana to get either your 2 or 3 drops back. We saw May use that mana advantage of Unearth to kind of bully fellow blue-black players last week of just having a mana advantage over them. And in just a moment here, I'll be able to get you.
There we go.
So here's the full 60. So if y'all want to snap a pic, learn about this beautiful frog ball, it is out there. It is available. It is good. But good luck finding them eyeballs.
Rich, did you submit your deck list? Bryce has it. Okay, I'm on Bryce's account, so let me see if I can find it.
We're going to see if we can bring that deck up for you real quick as well, just so that you can see what's been going on out there, because everybody's done already.
We had very quick matches. What were you saying about the deck list? It's in it. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay.
So, like I was saying, we're going to try to pull up the mill deck for you, and kind of this blue-black on blue-black, but very different flavors, very different spices. UB for such a long time, thanks to Ravnica blocks, was kind of defined by this mill archetype, and then kind of came into its own as the counterspell plus removal tempo strats that we see many a times. But the identity of mill still lives on through Rich in this great deck list. As I said, calling it blue burn, just counting to different numbers, casting different spells, using those pieces to interact back and forth between the two.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to use Architect.
Well,
I'm trying to copy it.
We're on the hunt to show you the mill.
Here, I'll give you something to talk about. Hold on.
Yes,
please. This one.
Everyone, thank you for joining us. There are this Discord if you want to chat with any fellow players. It exists both for the NRG series as well as the home store. So if you live in this area, you want to chat with our players about any of the formats that are played here in the building. We're talking standard, we're talking modern, we're talking legacy, we're talking commander. If you want to chat with the locals, here's a great place to find them. And if you want to chat with people on the series proper, you can go into that chat. Use this lovely little QR code here to get connected with those fellow Magic players. Remember, it's not just about the Magic, it's also about the gathering. And a part of that is chatting with fellow players, getting ready to rock and roll.
Oh. Keep going.
We're chuckling.
I'll show you. Hold on. This is what I've got so far. Hold on.
Hey, it works. I would say that's the deck.
I think.
Everyone, if you just want to take a screenshot of this, I think you're.
This is what you wanted, Chatters.
I think you're pretty locked in. Everything that you see here should work for you.
Just the crabs.
Yeah, I see no issue. So
there we are.
There we go. So live by the mill, die by the mill. We're talking a little bit classic here out of our boy Rich, playing Glimpse the Unthinkable. This is basically the lightning bolt of your mill strats. Just paying 2 mana milling for 10 cards, supplemented by things like Visions of Beyond, Drawn in the Lock. And a lot of these new mill cards really being the new backbone and Fractured Sanity, allowing you to cycle to mill cards. So continuing the strategy, but being kind of uncounterable, milling those cards and drawing some cards. Tasha's Hideous Laughter, as mana curves gets lower and lower and lower, this card mills more and more and more, and specifically puts those cards in exile, which makes it much harder for people out there. And supplement alongside the 7 crab package of 2 Jace the Perfected Minds. This is old mill Jace. Sometimes we use it for nasty standard combo decks, and sometimes use it just for old classic mill.
Yeah, absolutely. Rich has been playing a lot of mill recently. Obviously doing pretty well with it. Is 2-1 on the night after that match with May. Sitting at 8th, I believe. No, 10th on the adjusted leaderboard. Let me see. Regular leaderboard. He's sitting at 7th. Adjusted is just because we dropped the lowest score, so everyone can miss a week or make up points if they have a bad showing 1 week. So Rich is sitting at 7th currently. After tonight, we will be halfway through our league of 10 weeks. Brickman says glimpses the Boros charm of Mill.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, it's the Boros charm of Mill. That is correct. Thank you so much. Yeah, the sideboard is different. It's got ghost vacuums. That card rules. Play it. It's cool.
What's it do?
What's it do?
Well, let me read it. Ghost Vacuum
so-
from Duskmorn. Tap, exile target card from a graveyard. 6 mana and tap it and sacrifice it. Put each creature card exiled with Ghost Vacuum onto the battlefield under your control with a flying counter on it. Each of them is a 1/1 spirit in addition to its other types. Activate only
It's
as
cool.
a sorcery.
You put them all in the vacuum and then they come out as ghosts.
Oh, I love that. Very flavorful.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
If you want to
Ghostbusters.
buy some Ghost Vacuums, if we still have any in stock, head on over to nerdragegaming.com. If we're out of stock, add it to your wish list and get notified as soon as we list more, because we're listing more cards every day. I'm one of those people. I listed a lot of cards today. I'm very tired.
Yeah, I got tons of wish list notifications, so it makes sense.
Yes, you can ship countrywide, pick up in store, or pick up at Energy Series events as well. I gotta change that in the back end because we switched locations.
Oh,
That's
smart.
a note for
Very
future
smart. Very smart.
me. But yeah, we have a loyalty rewards program as well. So the more you spend, the more you save. As soon as your first purchase, you get 1% back in store credit, which you can use for event entry, singles, accessories in store, all of that goodness. I guess we're gonna go to a break real quick.
Yeah, everyone take some time, get a snack, get a Sammy. We'll meet you again for round
Ooh,
number 4.
Get a blankie. Can you bring me one too? I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
See you soon.
Bye.
Welcome back, folks, to our final match of the night. We got up-and-comers AJ and Min back in the booth. They've just been crushing it the last few times that we've had them on here, and we'll see who will be the better player tonight or who will draw the best. I'm going to go get them started.
Yeah, I was recently talking to the NRG outside crew. So there's the folks that if they finish matches early, it's beautiful weather out there, and they go, pop a squad outside, figure things out. And it was a consensus among the outside crew that Min is an absolute killer on Amulet. Yeah. And Min has said it's the only deck Min enjoys, but also Min is crushing with it. So
I mean, Amulet's so hard too. So props to him for being skillful with the deck at all.
Yes.
Let alone consistently.
But we also saw AJ win on turn 2 on a Mold of 5 earlier today.
Yes.
So these are two decks that are trying to put a lot of puzzle pieces together and can win on these low mulligans. And the question might just be who's going to put it together better, faster, earlier? Who knows?
Both of these decks mulligan well. We see both of our players sticking to 5.
Yeah. Oh, Min looks to be keeping a Beseiju hand, which,
Very
definitely
strong.
going to be helpful.
Lots of artifacts in AJ's deck. Couple of non-basic lands as well.
Yeah, including that namesake card of the Hemer.
Starting off with an Inkmoth Nexus, Springleaf, Ornithopter.
Slow down.
Cigardas? There it is.
Yeah, sheesh.
Yo,
all right.
That's just about the best turn 1 play you can have.
Saga Amulet.
That's not bad either.
Now, does AJ have boot up Inkmoth, give it a hammer?
We'll see.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Here comes the first.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Stoneforge. Okay.
This is the kill next turn.
All right.
This is the hammer.
This is. Yes.
So this is kill next turn.
But we saw that he has a Beseiju.
Yes,
Does he have green mana?
We know Min has Beseiju. Does Min have access to Beseiju?
Oh my gosh.
Min has a double amulet hand too. Min was prepared to kill and kill soon.
Yeah.
but the hammer is safely in hand, and there's 2 ink moths, which means if Min wants to do it now, Min would have to go after the Sigarda's aid.
Oh my gosh. Can't you just Boseiju the ink moth?
There's 2. So I'm saying
because he can boot up both.
Yeah.
If he's got a land, he's completely hellbent.
Yeah. Well, I'm also saying if Min needs to use like a bounce land to get the green source or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
there's kind of some weirdness depending on what land Min wants to pick up versus if they do or they don't.
Oh.
Min.
Just a cavern. Okay.
Yeah, no green source available in hand.
Oh man.
Well, just pretend.
Boot up.
Mm-hmm.
Combat.
Would you like to block? Would you like to bonk?
Equip and let's go.
Bing bong.
I appreciate the good-natured
bonk.
stick to it until he actually swings
Yep.
for lethal.
Bing bonk. Bing
All
bonk.
right. Bonk goes the hammer. We're done with game 1. We've got a fast finals for you folks. We've had some long matches tonight, some short matches, everything in between. We'll go to sideboards and check out deck lists here. We'll look at Amulet first. This is just off of Goldfish, so probably some flex slots here that Min has
Flex lot alert.
hashtag sort of sponsored.
Yeah, so this Amulet Titan deck that you're going to see on screen here, the only real difference is this one has copies of Dryad of the Elysian Grove, and I believe Min is playing a deck maxing out more on copies of Spelunking. But this list is actually similar to a list that I would probably play today.
Yeah.
So, love this. Sideboard, looking at things like Endurance, Colossal Sky Turtle, Dismember, Fire Spouts, Force of Vigor, Vexing Bauble, Spelunking, Trinisphere, Bojuka Bog, Boseiju, Cavern, Radiant Fountain. I said to Haviva when we walked in here, I sure hope Min has Force of Vigor. So if Min does have a list Amalgamist close to this one and Forces available, you're going to want them Forces.
Yep.
Colossal Sky Turtle might actually come into this match because it just is a bounce. Just interact with something gets big. Endurance has reach, so I also sometimes will bring that in the hammer matchup.
Sure.
Boseiju, if there are additional copies in the board, I'd bring that in. And Trinisphere, if I have these Trinispheres, bringing those in, the hammer deck like relies on being like a deck of 0, 1s, and 2s. Turning those all into 3s, they may never cast another spell again.
All right, let's take a look at a hammer list as well. We talked
one
about
we looked at earlier.
AJ's potential sideboarding last time.
Yes.
Let's talk about the matchup between Hammer and Amulet. Both these decks like to go fast. I think Amulet's got a little more staying power in the later game.
This is a pressure versus disruption matchup, right? So it is going to be both of them trying to win as fast as they can while weaving in 1, maybe 2 pieces of interaction to stop their opponent from doing the same thing. So if you're looking like this hammer sideboard, again, things like Damping Sphere, if you have any way to attack the mana base, that's sometimes the fastest way to do so. Also, I was talking with a bunch of the blue-black players out there. You folks need to be bringing in your graveyard hate against Amulet now. It feels weird. It feels bad. We watched Min earlier go full infinite big loops using Shifting Woodland and Aftermath Analyst. So this one Soul Guide Lantern, especially in your Urza Saga deck, I know it feels like Amulet's going to kill you on turn 3 every game, but also it's really good at going to turn 12 and just setting stuff up, and you want to be ready if you can. So ways to attack mana, ways to attack the graveyard, and ways to attack Titans. So I'm looking at Solitudes, Soul Guides, and Damping Spheres if this was my list. We'll probably see AJ a couple cards apart, maybe not sideboarding that heavily, but if you got access to it, you got to try.
Players have shuffled up. We'll get back down to the action here for game 2. Min will be on the play.
Yeah, Amulet on the play. There's nothing scarier.
I don't know. Hammer on the play is pretty scary, too.
Yeah, it's the second mold of 5 that AJ's put together that easily.
Yo, we have Sam and Bryce in chat, both rooting for their respective archetype.
Sam, rooting for Hammer Time. Bryce, rooting for Titan.
Yep.
Big shouts. Yeah, and like I said, Min, an absolute killer on this deck. Just had a double Amulet Saga hand on that mold of 5, was ready to set up their own stuff as well, but AJ just did not give any time to Min.
Yeah, when both players keep good hands, Hammer wins, right? Because
yeah, as long as Amulet's
Titans,
not keeping like the Boseiju hands or whatever, right?
I mean,
Min did have a Boseiju, you're right.
It just didn't have like,
Green.
exactly the
Yeah, because if you could see like play that second Amulet, play Simic Growth Chamber, make 4 mana, Boseiju something, play a Grazer, like there's suddenly like a draw there that gets put together real fast.
Yeah,
double Double Amulet Grazer Bounce Land gets you to Titan mana. So like, Min wasn't that far away from doing things as well because you get your Titan mana, you get your Titan, you get your extra mana, you suddenly have Beseiju mana, you blow stuff up, right? Like that snowball is there from Min. So Min on this 6, same keep as before. Urza Saga into Amulet, pass it back.
There we go. All right. I mean,
Oh.
that last game was.
Well, Min's
laughing
hand is
at
all lands
AJ's.
remaining.
Yeah.
It's Teleria West, Lotus Field, Forest.
Yo, his
Synchro
own
Chamber.
1-drop artifact. Amulet
So-
to your drum.
Min is drawing another land here, but this land being Mycosynth Gardens is going to allow Min
Ooh.
access to a second amulet. And
Very
then
strong.
next turn, Min's going to be able to pop Saga to either get third amulet or map to search for the T-West. But the T-West is already in hand, which means Min's probably going to have 3 amulets next turn.
I really like how Amulet gains stuff with almost every set. Like I remember when
Sure
Mycosynth
does.
Garden was like the new hotness, and
Yeah.
there's so many more cards that have been added to this deck since then.
Then they add Aftermath Annulus,
And
then
li-
Shifting Woodlands, and then Lumira.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
I was playing against Titan back in 2018, and it looked nothing like this.
Yeah, a Hive Mind version.
I was Scape Shift a lot.
Yes. Oh, Scape Shift's also making its way into Amulet Titan again.
Fun.
Because Scape Shift is just like the biggest ritual you could ever cast when you have Amulet stuff going.
Sure.
And it allows to more easily set up for the big combo stuff.
I was gonna say it's a great way to get all your lands into the graveyard.
Sure is.
All right, setting up here, we've got a Stoneforge Mystic for AJ.
Yeah, Min, here's the third amulet. So if Min plays a bounce land, the bounce land would be worth 6 mana. We have floating mana from Saga. Lotus Field is 9 mana. This is it.
Oh!
It's going to go green, green, blue.
Uh-huh.
The blue is going to shift the Teleria West into Summoner's Pack. Summoner's Pack's going to become Titan. As we get Titan with triple amulet.
Dude, I love the little taps. Tap, tap, tap.
Yep. Transmute this to T-West
Oh my gosh, that's sick.
to become Summoner's Pact. To become Titan, which then can become Mirror Pool plus Mana Source, make a Titan, which then becomes Echoing Deep plus Mana Source, make a Titan, which then goes Haste Source, Red Source, haste all 3 Titans and attack.
Okay.
So Summoner's Pact.
Mhm.
Summoner's Pact
Excuse
going
me.
on the stack. Because AJ does have access to this drum here if there's like a spell or a consign or something.
Yeah, he could have like a Pierce,
But this is
But-
Summoner's Pact.
but he's still got a ton of floating mana, so he's got to wait.
Summoner's Pact for Titan.
He's got a consign, I think.
There's Titan. Titan trigger. AJ does have a consign. AJ's now's the time. AJ?
AJ stifle the trigger.
AJ, stifle the trigger. AJ, stifle the trigger. Yes, AJ.
Oh my god. Okay. He's got
And
it.
Min just heard you saw the gentlest mouthing of, dang it. Because Min has a Summoner's Pact, and Min dies on Min's upkeep to not being able to pay for the Summoner's
Oh
Pact.
no. Oh.
That's it. That's Dunzo. This incredibly powerful amulet draw, broken up by exactly this one consign, because the consign stops the ETB search trigger. Min will never get lands, and Min will die to that Summoner's Pact.
Oh my gosh. Oh. What?
So Min went from about to kill you to dead.
That's crazy. That's modern.
That's modern, baby.
That's modern, baby. Wow. What a match. That's crazy.
Well.
Okay. I think that might be the record.
Oh yeah, the fastest match on camera in a while.
Fastest match? Was someone keeping track? We can look at the VOD later to see the exact time. I mean, they sideboarded really fast too. I actually, like, literally last week, Devin and May's match was pretty darn fast.
Yeah, but that's
too.
because they're fast.
I know they
this
play
is
at
just
lightning
the
speed.
decks.
Yeah.
Woo-wee. Well, folks.
AJ is your winner of the night. Advances to 4-0. That'll gain him 13 points on the leaderboard. He's sitting a little bit back on the pack. He missed a couple of weeks. Min has missed a couple of weeks as well. So they're about even in points. Min will take home 11 points. Still have half of the league left to go. No, round 4, we don't do a backup match. I mean,
There's no one there. This is the top table.
Yeah, most people have
Gone home.
split and gone home already. So, I mean, it's not even 10 o'clock. This is so early for Modern. It's so
Hey,
weird.
We'll take it this time.
Well, folks, thank you for joining us. We had a great time.
This is great. This was a blast.
We had several different decks on feature tonight.
Mhm.
Top meta decks, home brews, pet decks.
Hey, big
all
big shouts while we're here on camera still. Shout out to Sam. Just messaged me on Facebook. Dang, that was brutal. You're not wrong, Holmes. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that was something else. Before we wrap up coverage tonight, I just want to ask you folks, if you have not already, please hit the follow button and that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Really helps us out, lets us know that we're doing a good job, and helps more people find the channel because there's more engagement happening. So say hi in chat. If you're feeling really generous, if you got an Amazon Prime, hit that button as well. We'll take those Bezos bucks. September just ended, but it's still really important to the growth of the channel. We've got some emotes as well. It gives you ad-free viewing, all that goodness. We're going to run through a couple of ad reads as well. So if you're sticking around, thank you so much. If you're not, have a good night. If you're looking to play some competitive REL Magic, look no further than the Energy series. Taylor Swift rolled into Indianapolis and took up all the hotels, so we've moved it to Elmhurst. We are giving away, I think Dom did the math, we're giving away the rest of the invites.
Yeah, it's
at
like
Chicago.
It's like 8+ invites, but don't quote me on the exact.
There's 2 going for people that hypothetically have never attended an Energy series event
and I think
before.
at large for season 2 and overall leaderboard as well.
Overall at larges, season 2 at larges, MVP will be decided, and of course your Modern and Pioneer Showdown winners as well. $15,000 in the prize pool, plus side events, plus invitations to RC Portland and Charlotte. Will be in Elmhurst, Chicago. You can register now on Melee. Look at details on the website as well. Enter nerdragegaming.com. There's lots of side events, oversized cards, uncut sheets. We'll have artists there. Inkling Customs, who does the custom tokens for all of our Showdown winners. And of course, if you win your Showdown, you get that token and invitation to our 24-person, $35,000 championship, the winner of which goes to the Pro Tour, which is pretty darn neat, if I do say so myself. If you need cards for any of those events, go to nerdragegaming.com. We have tens of thousands of cards in inventory. We're also in the process of integrating those all to the home site, the things that we had on our Pro website. So that includes Magic Foils, Digimon, Pokemon, Lorcana, One Piece, and now Union Arena. We have 6 games of organized play that we support, and here's all the different ways you can play them. I do need to update the schedule once more.
It just continues to grow.
It continues to grow. We have so many great communities here. Lots of people, parts of multiple communities. Speaking of, Monday is Commander and Digimon. Next week we have our Duskborn Commander Party. Show up for that for some fun stickers and promo cards. Tuesday is One Piece League and Lorcana. We have our Shimmering Skies set championship next Saturday. Wednesday is Modern, and joining them next week is Union Arena. If you like Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, those are some of the decks that you can play with in Union Arena. Thursday is more Commander and Pokemon. We'll be live streaming that tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. We have fantastic commentary crew for that. They also make YouTube videos now, so check them out. We just had our League Cup, so they're making content about that just in the next couple of days. Friday is our 3 event day with Boomer Zoomer Legacy Standard FNM as well as One Piece. And Saturday wraps up our schedule with our Digimon Circuit. Currently, if you 4-0 a local, that qualifies you for an end of the season sort of event, which is super cool. Zeke is doing lots of fun work with that. What else? If you want to talk to any of the players tonight, staff, you have any questions, join our Discord. This also links you to the series Discord, so you can find teammates for team events. I just found out we're doing a bunch of team events next year, so that's super exciting.
Love team events. Vibes are great.
Team events are the best. So if you need teammates, if you're looking to meet people in the area, find a commander pod, all that goodness, check out our Discord. That's also a way to keep up to date with the Modern leaderboard and in-store promotions and all that goodness. That wraps up coverage for tonight, folks. It's been a good one, I think. Maybe one of the best this season.
What a jam fest. What a great time.
I had a great time. Thank you all so much for joining us. You are why we do this, so we appreciate you being here. Have a good night.
Toodles.